Let's go. Let's go and get a smile or two, a dance or two before we get off into this serious talk. You know, black and white ain't never an easy conversation. So let's just have a sip or whatever you drinking or sipping on. I got some tea. And I got me, where's my little grape sparkling frost. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Hey, stop playing. Shelly Shell. Rush hour. Ain't gonna be up all night. What else we going breaking? Got that Shannon Sharp mess. What they Metcalf's GoFundMe. Maybe they happy now, you know. It was always hey. Maybe they was in why? Oh Lord. Shout out to Carmelo Anthony supporters. They over 500, over $500,000 in support. I'm so happy for them. People threatening their lives. I saw I don't even know if I sent it to myself. I don't even know if I saved it. They was all on the golf course. I should have kept it. That's what they gonna look like when whatever they gonna do. Let me see if I send it to myself. Oh, what?
I do know at this time at 03:59, officer received a shooting call in the 4800 block of Fairley Road. Once they arrived on the scene, they located 2 male subjects that was shot in the driveway of the location.
Oh, wow.
One was deceased on the scene.
That's too much, man. Too much. Oh, Lord. Can we all just live in perfect peace and harmony? Hey, Clarinetta. Oh, oh my God. Y'all, what he need $1 million for? What he need $1 million for? Y'all, come on now. Can somebody help me understand what he need $1 million? Y'all see this? Hold on. Oh, I knew that was. There we go. $1 million. So we know why. We know why. Purpose of the funds, legal defense. Legal defense. Relocation. Transport, counseling, security measures. Security measures. So let's go check out theirs. This is crazy. Are they in competition? Are the Metcalfs in competition? He need $1 million to help his family heal. So money can make you heal. Okay. He said he need $1 million to help his family heal. How you gonna help him heal? Let me see. Oh, and he put this up the day it happened. Okay. You gonna get medical. Y'all, do y'all see a reason? I mean, This is so funny to me. This is just telling me about his son. He was a leader. We know Hunter don't even live with you, so what he need $1 million for? He didn't even tell you what he needed it for. He didn't say I'm mentally distraught. My other son will need counseling. To help bury him. What do you need $1 million for? Am I tripping? $1 million. I'm in the wrong business. I think I work too hard. You didn't even say nothing was wrong with you. You organized with this crazy little man with the hate speeches. I mean, we like night and day. We the people, we are like night and day, y'all, for real. He ain't put nothing about help bury him, emotional, mental recovery, none of that.
How to use AutoCode Explorer. First start. Then compare rates from us and our competitors.
This is crazy. So listen, I wanted us to dive into it a little bit today because what is this? Because there is a great divide, and it is fascinating to me, to say the least, how we, different cultures, I guess. Look, I mean, react and what we see is different. How we see it is different. How we express it, I guess, is different. We're just like night and day, aren't we? Hey, LP. They're trying to come up and get halfway rich, capitalizing on Austin's passing. You know what, LP? If I may, I think that he, because it's not they, it's he, that is Jeff Metcalf's, and we know that him and his wife, or ex-wife, or the boy's mom, is not together because she dang near broke her neck, right? She came up out of her act, right? To correct the news guy about there go some white attorneys down there, they go, rest in peace. So they not together. Do I got a picture of them together? So it's not. I think it's more so that people are helping. Oh, you a clown. Austin's family. So he's like, well, shit. I mean, people are helping them. I might as well get some help too. If I can't beat them, join them. Right? He tried to send his peaceful protest guy, and wanted to have black security, LP, he did not put what he needed $1 million for. He did not put. Now, the Anthonys had already told what they needed assistance with, and has since, effective yesterday, had to move. Undisclosed place. See, when we try to do right, A violent attack. Lord, if it ain't one thing, it's another. So yeah, I think that's what he doing. I think the entitlement is still there. The hate. I don't think he really realized that it was in him. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't know if he knew it was in him. I just don't know. Let me see if I got a picture of him. I don't know if he, because, it shows his ugly little face. And, sometimes tragedy has to surface before the sheet falls. So, Jeff claimed swatting his house again today so he could look to relocate. Okay. Okay. Well, that ain't because of black that ain't because of black people. I don't believe that. I believe the first one was fake because his ass wasn't there. And the second one probably coming from that little old devil that he was entertaining to do that protest and got played. Yeah, him and his partner there. Yeah, him and his partner. And he got played. And so I think the little Trump supporter, the White Lives Matter, he PWA. Yeah, protect him and condemn. Yeah, so you played with the devil. I think they the ones who the one today. I don't believe that. I think anytime something is being presented for Carmelo, he gonna find a way to allow it to be presented to him. See, the only thing about that, sir, Mr. Metcalf, because you got that type of spirit, is you ain't gonna be able to come up with a self-defense situation because your son started it. Hell, some of that you may be asking for may be for legal fees and you just don't want to put it on there. Okay. Some legal fees for Hannah. Okay. Yeah. That may, yeah. But you don't want to put that out there just yet. Yeah, and alarm the people. Yeah. Because Hannah ass may be in trouble. And to see that flyer, I know that flyer pissed you the off. Yeah, when you was out there playing with the little old devil guy, and he had his little flyer, like the protest was for Austin, rightfully so. But you act like you didn't know that he was anti-black. He didn't put that on the flyers. See, yeah, you claim you didn't know. You didn't vet him. You didn't check. You didn't run a background on him. Did you not know he was one of the ones that incited the riot on the Capitol? Did you know that, Metcalf? Huh? Did you know that? Inquiring minds, AunTeaFee mind want to know. Did you know that little old devilish man who outright hate black people, totally against them, condemn them, send all their asses to hell? Did you know he was a part of inciting that riot on the Capitol? And you thought, yeah, he trying to come up. And he had that jealous spirit. Yeah, did you not know who he was? Hello? Huh? It's gonna, Hunter is going to need attorney fees. Come on now. He knows he may have been there too. I mean, I don't know. But I don't want to believe you didn't do your due diligence. How did you not know, sir? Billy Bob, did you not know who he was? Huh? Okay, I'm just asking. I ain't gonna say I'm asking for a friend. I want to know. I want to know where your head at. Cause see, and I can't just say everything is because your son, because the Anthonys, yes, their son is still here. However, I applaud their composure during this time. But you, sir, I'm trying to get to this flyer. You was okay with that man having been attached to your son. Now, I don't know if you had a change of heart. I don't know if Billy Bob back here told you what they were saying on the intercom. Well, hell, it wasn't but a handful of people. If it had been like was y'all trying to hit 1 million man march? Did y'all think I was gonna have Did you think that y'all was gonna have it like it was at the Capitol? What was y'all thinking? Huh? Because it wasn't nothing but a whisper of people, and he was on top of the bus with a bullhorn, screaming racial slurs and shit. Did you know that? And why were you not there if it was supposed to be for your son? Huh? Yeah, I got my eye on you, sir. I got my eye on you. Let me see this right here. Let me see this flyer. Yeah, I got my eye on you, sir. $1 million. Let me see this flyer. Cause one of them flyers had for Hunter drop the charges. Yeah. On Carmelo and charge Hunter. It was on the flyer. Did y'all see that flyer? I don't know if they took it down. Hold on. Yeah. Yeah. So he know it's out there. Drop the charges and charge Hunter. Did that piss you off? I know it did. I'm sorry. Yeah, so, and I say that I'm asking you that because you want us to believe that you didn't know that man was going to be out there with that racial stuff, and you also act as if you don't know that people are looking at it like that because Hunter started it. Is that their house? I like their hands off. The mayor took it down. Public safety alert. Let me see. Yeah, they done took it down where I was looking at it at. They took that bad baby down, didn't they? Let me see. Yeah, I got my eye on you, sir, because either you trifling or you know you're going to need some legal fees. There's a possibility of you just coming up with anything because you are not given a reason why you need it. And I didn't know that you could just give somebody's GPA and saying he was a good kid and ask for a whole $1 million. Yeah, we can buy eggs. Hell, we broke. Huh? Can you? I only need 3. Can I buy 3 of them eggs? Oh my goodness! Let me see if it pop up this way. So listen, we're gonna listen. Did they take that flyer down? Oh, here it go. Here it go. That rally for support for right here. Drop the charges. Charge Hunter Metcalf. Whoo, huh? Charge Hunter. So what we gonna do tonight? Charge Hunter. Yeah. Charge Hunter. Drop the charges and charge who started it. Yeah. So he may be asking for some help for legal fees. I don't know. I mean, cause he ain't saying he need nothing. He's been a successful real estate agent for in Frisco for 10 years. He say so. You know, I don't know. Huh? I need to snap that, don't I? Charge Hunter Metcalf. Absolutely. So listen, we're going to start by listening to this one first because we're going to listen to Roland Martin and his panel. We're going to listen objectively to some self-defense attorneys. And they're going to give their observation. I listened to them. I don't know. I guess, well, one of them, like he said, he said that they're basing their opinion off of what the media has already put out about the case. So I have to remember that. And then I also have to remember that there's a few things that the tea sippers know, right? We've discussed that they may not know, right? You know, like, because they're not mentioning several other kids up under the tent, you know, for whatever reason. For whatever reason, they don't want those facts out there, because that has nothing to do, that part of it has nothing to do with kids' testimonies. They try to act like, you know, we have to protect, because majority of these testimonies are from minors, you know, teenagers. So, you know, we have to protect that. But one of them people, the attorneys or somebody, said that there's a couple of coaches that has given some testimony. But what does that have to do with what the downpour at that time? And several kids from different schools was running up under that. So they're still not giving a true analysis. Because they still want to make it, you know, like, you know, that, you know, you can't do this, you can't do that. Yeah, you can. And they're not coming from a Texas perspective. They're still putting their twist on it. But we gonna listen anyway. And then I've been holding this Como with these panel of people. When did they do this? And I never saw this one. And I wanted to hear what he first with this one. With Como. Y'all get the lights up just to see where it started. What? Oh wow. Hold on. Hey, Max. Oh, Lord, Lord. So I wanted to hear where his mind was, because Como kind of funny. And I wanted to hear these good old boys. You know, I like listening to the good old boys. Just to see, you know, if that sheet gonna fall off. Can I say it like that? Can I say it like that? I ain't say what color. I just want to see if it's gonna fall off. You know what I mean? You know, ain't that a song? I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors. Huh? Oh yeah. Ain't that a song? I mean, I like he an OG. Golfer. Oh, that's what I was looking for. Oh my goodness. Oh, hold on. Did I send that to myself? Hold on. Yeah, hold on, y'all, because they always talking about us. You know, oh, please tell me I sent this to myself. I thought this was the funniest baby on the, because let me before I start. Oh, look at me. I sent it to myself. Baby, I'm gonna have to break it up and stop it, break it up and stop it, because, you know, they say we are aggressive, we this, we that, you know. Baby, this is going to be Metcalf and them on the golf course when that DA tell him we got a problem with Austin. Y'all ready? Y'all ready to laugh? Hold on, my thing fair. Hold on. Hold on. This gonna be them on the golf course when they get the news that it ain't gonna be nothing they can do. Ain't gonna be nothing they can do. Ain't gonna be nothing they can do. Baby, it's gonna be a brawl, huh? On the 9. It's gonna be a they got it on Fox 4, huh? That's gonna be. What you mean to tell me you didn't do your fucking job, my son? This is gonna be him. Did somebody grab him around his neck? You lying? You lying to me? Huh? Huh? They don't act a fool like that. What? Is his hand around his neck? Huh? Let me see what's oh, I'm clouded. I don't make. Oh, I mean, baby, when I tell you the man in the blue, it keeps. Maybe I need to turn it this way. That cat in the blue, baby, he used to be a boxer or a fighter. Okay, let me turn it around. It's not turning. Come on, because it's not standing up. Oh, I know how to do it. I'm gonna do it just like this. Let's go. He said, what the fuck you mean?
You can step in, Justin.
Oh,
You can.
oh.
Justin.
The one in the blue that was right here. He used to be a. Oh, it popped him again. Down he goes. There, here come a friend. Don't hit my friend. There he goes. Baby, this gonna be them on the golf course when he has to deliver the news. Oh, baby, you too big to be you know, it's he not, hold on. I thought we was the only one. Huh? Y'all hit the like button. I thought we was the only ones. Huh? Out there acting a fool. A whole ass. Huh? On the 9. On the green. Baby, when I tell you I saw this, I laughed. But old guy in the blue shirt, he got a mean punch. Look at him, he got him down, baby. Again, he just knocked him down again. Here come his friend. Hold on. I was trying to get the you know, he was a little different race. I don't know what he was, baby, but he tried to come up there and help his little old friend. And Pops in the blue laid that ass down too. She said, what got into you? We can get through this. This is what it's gonna look like, y'all. When they have to tell it, hey, Cynthia, when they have to tell them, okay, that, you know, we have been really trying to hold it off, you know, and we can't keep putting it off. It's just, there's nothing we can do. And I mean, we have tried. You know that, Jeff. You know that. We've been trying, you know. But there's a due process. And, you know, I haven't even charged. I mean, officially indicted him. It's been, hell, it's about to be almost a month. And, you know, yeah, it's getting kind of hard for me to explain why we haven't taken it to the grand jury yet. And the reality of it is, Jeff, my friend, the evidence really is proving self-defense. And Jeff went to swinging. What the fuck you mean? Not my boy. Baby, that's what it's gonna look like on that day. Well, I thought a round of golf would help. You know, you take some of the stress and the tension. You know, just so you know, I'm gonna go ahead and pay for this for you. You know, you can't be out here acting like that, because this is what you were saying. They act like, who raised you? Ain't that what you said? Ain't that what you said about his family? You know, and you out here cutting up on here. They gonna want our membership back. You gonna make us lose our membership out here. A whole brawl on the golf course. Stop it! Let's go, y'all. I couldn't believe it. Wow, brawl breaks out on the golf course. Did it say where? Where's Fox 4 News? Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay, let's come on here. See, this was around the time Did Texas teen stab in self-defense? Let's hear it. We finna hear it black and white from each perspective, I guess, and then we're gonna hear from some legal attorneys who they say those are the cases that they take in real life. Oh, I need to pump up the volume. Let's go, y'all. Yeah, yeah, before we get off into the nitty gritty, y'all gonna have to get my likes up. Y'all do know that, right? Okay. Just so you know.
So Anthony was being held on $1 million bond, which was crazy. Today they reduced it to 250 grand.
Did he say which was crazy? Did he say which was crazy? He started out saying which was crazy? Oh, I was not expecting that. Okay. Was y'all expecting that? Okay. Okay.
He's being held on $1 million bond, which was crazy. Today they reduced it to 250 grand, which is, you know, still sizable, but he wound up getting out. All right, so Mark, first of all, the idea of race, I mean, you lived it.
I'm kind of shocked that he is being honest and said, and it's still kind of high, you know, for, I mean, why are we acting like this ain't happened before? And it wasn't $1 million bond for a kid who, or anybody who ain't never had a background. But okay, I mean, okay. Come on, I see you, let's go.
With Zimmerman in a big way. There's so many people who believe that that's why Zimmerman wound up beating that case. But what do you see here? What are your questions? What will matter? 50 grand, which is, you know, still sizable, but he wound up getting out. All right, so Mark, first of all, the idea of race, I mean, you lived it with Zimmerman in a big way. There's so many people who believe that that's why Zimmerman wound up beating that case. But what do you see here? What are your questions? What will matter?
Oh, no, it's definitely a consideration. It always is, whether it's sort of obvious what we're doing or the implicit one, because we all carry these implicit biases with us that perceive or impact how we perceive an event. Now, what's really it's going to come down to, and I disagree with the guy who said this is not a self-defense case yesterday, I think he said it. This is definitely a self-defense case, because it always is one until you look at the facts of the case and compare the two. You have to compare who was the initial aggressor. Was it an aggressive act for him to go up and say, get away from the tent? Did he do more than that? My understanding was maybe he touched him and put hands on him. Granted, that makes the decedent in this case maybe the initial aggressor. But you really still then have to look at whether or not Carmelo Anthony responded with appropriate force, he used a deadly weapon, and whether or not he was in imminent fear of great bodily injury. That's the standard in Texas and most every state, to determine whether or not his actions, the way he perceived them, the way Carmelo Anthony perceived them, when he took out that.
See, that's what people are missing. Thank you for saying that, sir. I mean, you said it in a way maybe people will get it, because perception is reality. Perception is reality. And I remember a long time ago when I was much younger and probably a lot less, I don't know how to put it, you know, thank God for change. My understanding was not where it probably needed to be. And I remember saying, no, that's not true. Perception is not my reality. Can't nobody, I just remember, somebody may say they was offended. So when people say, when I say you were rude or disrespectful, or somebody just say, no, I didn't disrespect her. I wasn't rude to her. Baby, to me, you was. So when it took a long time for me to understand that perception is that person's reality. So nobody can say how he feels or what he thought but him. And can't nobody say that couldn't possibly, he pushed you down or whatever, he threw, you can't say that, you felt like your life was in danger. Perception is reality. So I'm glad you said that, sir. I'm glad you said that. I've said it my way by saying can't nobody tell you how you feel. But perception, his perspective, there you go. Let's go back.
Fear of great bodily injury, that's the standard in Texas and most every state, to determine whether or not his actions, the way he perceived them, the way Carmelo Anthony perceived them, when he took out that knife and stabbed him. The good part is if the decedent was the aggressor initially. The bad part for Carmelo, if in fact it's true that he sort of said, touch me and you'll see, because that's that aggression, that's that predisposition towards violence that doesn't have a place in a true self-defense case.
It doesn't. I agree. I agree to some degree. But what we're missing is what was said to him, in the forceful way that Hunter has said, that Austin did what he do, they are leaving that out. They are leaving that out. And you cannot leave that out as if it went from, because people have a tendency of skip hopscotching, and they are taken from A. They act like it's from A to B, and that's not the case. It didn't go from move and he said, put your hands on me. No, because that's not even what Hunter said. So I wish, I'd be waiting to hear if somebody is going to even acknowledge that. Yeah, we don't know what was said, but we can at least say Hunter said it escalated. It escalated with Hunter before this kid said, touch me, or don't touch me, or if you hit me, see what happens, or whatever he said. That was already per Hunter, it had already escalated. So it went from Hunter to Austin, and at that point, nothing was said about touch me or whatever, because Austin hadn't tapped in yet. He hadn't tagged him in and say, I got it from here, bro. But one thing is for sure, Hunter said it escalated. But I hold that, I'm being optimistic that y'all are saying that, although I know y'all heard Hunter say that. Yeah, but y'all want to know exactly what was said, because, y'all don't know what would make us say this, that, and the other. I don't know why y'all don't know. It should be the same. But, because I know I can tell you what somebody would have said to me to make me say, touch me and see what happened. Put your hands on me and see what happened. I already know something has to be said, because I know how we talk. Does that make sense? I know how we talk. It don't go from move to I'm gonna stab you. No. No. But let's listen.
What is if the decedent was the aggressor initially, the bad part from Carmela? If in fact it's true that he sort of said, touch me and you'll see, because that's that aggression, that's that predisposition towards violence that doesn't have a place in a true self-defense case.
What's the most important question for you in this, Mark? And I want the same from you, Professor, if you have one. Go ahead, Mark.
Sure. Who truly was the initial aggressor? How did this unfold such that if in fact he had a reason to believe in great bodily injury was imminent, was it reasonable? Was he pushed? Was he shoved? Was he hit? Because don't forget, it's of the moment, but you are allowed to respond to great deadly force with your own great deadly force, or at least your perception of great deadly force. So it's really going to be fact-based. I do think that race, it's going to be played out on social media. It also is going to be played out in a courtroom if you ever get there, because in today's day and age, I would argue that someone like Carmelo Anthony now has a heightened concern over the past few years and the way we've sort of degraded some of the progress we thought we made over the past decade, as far as how we're treating young black males in the system, such that maybe he would have felt more preyed upon than he otherwise would. Interesting.
Oh, I like his way of thinking. I like him. I like him because he's realistic. He is absolutely realistic, and he's honest. He's honest. I may not agree with everything he said, but even the question that he said he would ask is a good one. Cause and I didn't watch this one.
Heightened concern over the past few years and the way.
Yeah, because what happened?
Oh, such that if in fact he had a reason to believe in great bodily injury was imminent, was it reasonable?
Yeah, and I can tell you some things were said.
What's the most important question for you in this, Mark? And then I want the same from you, Professor, if you have one. Go ahead, Mark.
Sure. Who truly was the initial aggressor? How did this unfold such that if in fact he had a reason to believe in great bodily injury was imminent, was it reasonable? Was he pushed? Was he shoved? Was he hit? Because don't forget, it's of the moment, but you are allowed to respond to great deadly force with your own great deadly force, or at least your...
Did y'all hear that? Are y'all still with me? Did y'all hear that? He said, great deadly force. Are y'all still here? Am I buffing? Hold on, one more time. He said, great deadly force. Oh, I know some people don't want to hear that. I didn't say great. Hold on. Let me see if I'm buffing. The chat not moving on my end. Are y'all still here? Let me see. I may be buffing. Ooh, he said great deadly force. Ooh, I know some folk ain't gonna want to hear that. Baby. Okay. I don't know why my thing. Oh, okay, I see it now. Great deadly force. Got to be more careful. What is great deadly force? See, to me, to hear great deadly force, maybe I'm tripping, but let me hear that again. Cause that to me sounds, hey, Kane Life, great deadly force to me. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. I don't know where I'm at. Where am I at? great deadly force to me means overkill. Did your screen record? Did you screen record that video? Which video? LP? Did I screen record what video? The racist that defended Carmelo is not feeling the great deadly force thing. Humble Pop, the what that defended. Humble Pie, rewrite that where I know what exactly that you're saying. What do you mean defended him? Who defended him? Hell, they haven't indicted him. So what do you mean defended him? You talking about the people? Because I don't know what you're talking about. So I removed that respectfully. Come back and said it in a way, because you brought up the racist word first. We ain't said self-defense isn't going to be a real defense. Well, that's why we got attorneys here. Are you an attorney, Humble Pie? Are you an attorney? What state are you in? I mean, because he's an attorney. I mean, he said, great deadly force. Let's hear it again. That's why I want to know, are you an attorney? Before, I don't go to sporting games to murder. Are you an attorney? Okay. He didn't go to murder one either. Someone assaulted him. So what should be done about Hunter assaulting him? I got you today, Humble Pie. What should happen with Hunter for assaulting him? Do you think that the charges should be dropped for Carmelo and Hunter should be charged with assault since he initiated it? So did Hunter go to the sporting event to assault Carmelo? I mean, because that's how it started, right? Are you hops? Yeah, you doing that hopscotch? You jump from one to the other. Yeah, and y'all often always jump past Hunter. So should the charges be dropped for Carmelo, since no, he did not go to a sporting event to for someone to die, but he did not go to the sporting event for Hunter to assault him. So are you in agreement that his charges should be dropped in Hunter, who obviously came to the sporting event to assault him, based on how you talking? Yeah, but that's what Hunter said. Now, Humble Pie. Now you changing it up. So are you saying that Hunter did not say that they put their hands on him first? Huh? Are you listening with your good ear? Cause Hunter definitely said it. Hell, they said that Hunter, that Carmelo was not the aggressor and he did not initiate it. Do you have selective hearing? Yeah. That's why I showed y'all the video of the angry white men. Did they go on? Hold on, Humble Pie. This right here is just for you right now. Did these men right here go to the golf course to have a whole brawl? Huh? Busting each other upside the head, busting them in the nose, a whole group of them acting a damn fool. Did they go to this sporting event to get into a whole brawl? Huh? Humble Pie? Yeah. I think the charges should be put on Hunter since he started it and he got his brother assassinated, unalived.
Because don't forget.
Yeah, don't come over here with that today. I'm gonna eat you up. Every last one of y'all that come over there, I'm gonna take you back to the person who initiated all of this mess. Because if it was not for Hunter, none of it would have happened. Yeah, now put that in your pot and eat it. Yeah, let's go.
Who was the initial aggressor?
Oh, I knew that was coming, y'all. Can't y'all tell? Yeah. Hunter needs to be charged. Yeah. Who is the F? Who? F. LP. LP. Woo! Let's go.
Was it an aggressive act for him to go up and say, "Get away from the tent"? Did he do more than that?
Yes, it was.
It was maybe touch him and put hands on.
Absolutely, because that's how it all started. He should have never go on and defend. But what should happen to Hunter? Why can't you listen? I am not going to allow you to be in the comments doing that and you can't answer my question. So I'm going to remove that. I'm going to put you in time out for a little bit because you're going to respect this platform. Do you understand? You're going to respect it or you're going to leave. Okay? You don't run nothing here. Okay, but answer my question. Oh, so you think all he need to do for putting his hands on him is go to anger management? You sick? You sick as hell. Yeah, and that's why people like you feel entitled to put their hands on people and get minimal punishment. But somebody can poke one time to get 2 people up off them. That so happened to unalive somebody and he needs to go to life, go to prison for life. Yeah, but the person who initiated gonna eat some charges. You can best believe that. And they asses is gonna be on that golf court clowning like them good old boys are over there. So I suggest, Humble Pie, you just sit back and enjoy the show. Okay? Thank you.
That perceive or impact how we perceive it.
And again, let me go back because I need for people who have sense. There you go. You just can't, it blows my mind that y'all can't respect nothing. I asked you, and you still insist on saying, so go on, y'all say bye to Humble Pie. Go on, baby, because you get bye. Let me help you. Let me help you. Black. Oh, I see the word black. Okay, there you go. Y'all say bye to blueberry, blackberry pie. Yeah, because this is the reason why they feel entitled to do what they want to do. And this is why it's stand your ground and it's deadly. It can be great deadly force. Yeah. Bye. Lord. I started out with...
What will matter?
Listen, I call myself starting out, with not with African American people, so they won't say I'm being biased, huh? But it just so happened that he started out being realistic, and so did he. Woo, Lord. Unbeknownst to me, because I didn't even watch this first. Let's go.
Oh, no, it's definitely a consideration. It always is, whether it's a sort of obvious what we're doing or the implicit one, because we all carry these implicit biases with us that perceive or impact how we perceive an event. Now, what's really it's going to come down to, and I disagree with the guy who said this is not a self-defense case. Yes, I think he said it. This is definitely a self-defense case because it always is one until you look at the facts of the case and compare the two. You have to compare who was the initial aggressor. Was it an aggressive act for him to go up and say, get away from the tent? Did he do more than that? My understanding was maybe he touched.
So right there, I mean, you know, they're not gonna be able to hear, listen. They ain't gonna be able to hear this with their good ear. They gonna hear it and act like it don't matter that he did not say that. They gonna flip this around because again, perception is his reality. If he perceived that his life was in danger, that is his reality. And that's just the bottom line. And the facts, based on what I've heard so far, the witnesses is collaborating. But let's go. Perception. Yeah.
An aggressive act for him to go up and say, get away from the tent. Did he do?
It starts there. It starts there. Even saying, get away from the tent. It wasn't his tent, and he was not in authority to do so.
More than that, my understanding was maybe he touched him and put hands on him. Granted, that makes the decedent in this case maybe the initial aggressor. But you really still then have to look at whether or not Carmelo Anthony responded with appropriate force, he used a deadly weapon, and whether or not he was in imminent fear.
Y'all, and let me say this, because people, again, maybe I'm too detailed and too technical for people, but I be expecting for people to recognize, I mean, when they're trying to act like it wasn't in an aggressive type of way, sir. And I need for y'all to start bringing this out. So them humble pies and all these other people who act like they can't comprehend, you know, can understand better. Okay? And I'm saying this because Carmelo Anthony was approached by one brother first. And then he was addressed by a second brother who would not feel threatened. If it wasn't aggressive, then there would have been no need for his brother to do what he always do. We're not going to skip past that. So it started out aggressive, and then it elevated, it escalated per Hunter. So yes, there was a threat. We're not going to act like it wasn't. So he wasn't confronted by just one person. He was confronted by one aggressively, and then it, per Hunter, it escalated. Now we not gonna play dumb. I'm condolences, but rest in peace. I am absolutely sorry this happened to you. I am absolutely sorry. You did not deserve this. And I believe that you got in it for your brother. Because that's what you do. Per your mama and your brother. You always had his back. So I am so sorry. I am so sorry.
Of great bodily injury, that's the standard in Texas and most every state, to determine whether or not his actions, the way he perceived him, the way Carmelo Anthony perceived him when he took out that knife and stabbed him. The good part is if the decedent was the aggressor initially. The bad part for Carmelo, if in fact it's true that he sort of said, touch me and you'll see, because that's that aggression, that's that predisposition towards violence that doesn't have a place in a true self-defense case.
It was a response to a threat. It was a response to a threat. That I don't think nobody, like the kid said, that nobody thought that he had anything in his bag. Nobody thought he had anything in his bag. You know why they didn't think he had anything in his bag? Because he's not an aggressive kid. He's not aggressive like that. He's not. Because let me tell y'all something. I'm going to tell you what God loves. I'm going to tell you, if he would have been, y'all, can I keep it real? Can I keep it real? Better hope Melo can prove. Oh, they done already proved it. They done already proved it, Billy. That's why they haven't indicted him yet. Have you asked yourself that? Have you asked yourself, Billy boy, if it was so cut and dry, why has this kid not been indicted, Billy boy? Billy? Have you stopped to ask yourself that there is a reason why that DA do not even want to say he's been charged yet? Because now he is saying, Billy boy, that all he has been is arrested. Yeah. He hadn't even received evidence yet, Billy boy. So now you better hope that they don't hit Hunter with them charges, because he was the aggressor. Yeah. But have you asked yourself that, Billy? Yoo-hoo! Billy, yeah. Have you asked yourself that? No. You better. See, there go that entitlement again. Better. Who you think you talking to? I don't better do nothing. Yeah. He asked him to not touch him. He should have respected the man, this young man, enough to not put his hands on him. He would have still been here. So next time, teach your kids, make sure you teach your kids, your family, to keep their hands to themselves. Yeah. Especially in Texas. Now let me get back to what I'm saying. If he would have been in the cliff, yeah. If he would have been from the cliff, y'all would have seen what aggression from him looked like. But that's not who he was. That's why they said nobody believed he had anything in his bag. Keep your hands to yourself, Billy. No, I said if he was from the cliff. Don't put words in my mouth. Tell me, Billy, what should happen to Hunter for being the aggressor? He said that the paper where he seen that Hunter was the aggressor. What should happen to Hunter for assaulting him? Let's go. Let's go. What should happen to Hunter for putting his hands on Carmelo Anthony? Because it's not illegal for him to be up under the tent, but it is illegal for him to put his hands on someone. Billy? Yeah. What should happen to Hunter? We gonna wait for you. I'm sick of y'all bypassing the fact that Hunter initiated. So, what should happen to Hunter, Billy? I really want to know what you think. Because I think he should be charged. I think the charges for Carmelo should be dropped since he didn't initiate it. And the Hunter be charged. Since he started it. Per Hunter. He admitted it. He admitted it. So what should happen to him? Billy. And I have said, I don't know if you was here, perception is his reality. If he perceived it as a threat, then it was a threat. I can't prove nothing for him. I'm going to believe what he say. If he say he felt his life was in danger, his life was in danger. Period. If he was intelligent enough to say it's not alleged, no, I did it, he thought he was defending himself. So what should happen to Hunter for assaulting him? Because one thing is for sure, if he would have put his hands on Hunter or Austin, it would be deemed assault. And somebody would be saying he needs to go to jail for that. That's assault. So what should happen to Hunter? That's all I need for you to answer. And if you cannot answer that, please just sit back and enjoy the show. Or you can exit to the left, Yeah. Let's go. Oh, I'm so glad I found this. Charge Hunter's ass. Let's go.
In this case, maybe the initial aggressor. But you really still then have to look at whether or not Carmelo Anthony responded with appropriate force. He used a deadly weapon, and whether or not he was in
like they haven't been unaliving us. I'm trying not to go there, Clarinet.
Texas in most every state to determine whether or not his actions, the way he perceived, the way
I love when he said that. The way he perceived
when he took out that knife and stabbed him.
The way he perceived it.
The good part is if the decedent was the aggressor initially. The bad part for Carmelo, if in fact it's true that he sort of said, touch me and you'll see, because that's that aggression, that's that predisposition towards violence that doesn't have a place in a true self-defense case.
What's the most important question for you in this, Mark? And then I want the same from you, Professor, if you have one. Go ahead, Mark.
Sure. Who truly was the initial aggressor? How did this unfold such that if in fact he had a reason to believe great bodily injury was imminent, was it reasonable? Was he pushed? Was he shoved? Was he hit? Because don't forget, it's the moment, but you are allowed to respond to great deadly force with your own great deadly force, or at least your perception of great deadly force. So it's real.
Your perception of great deadly force. Now I know, I'm going to assume that never crossed this kid's mind. The great deadly force, that didn't cross his mind. But it's intriguing somewhat that this man is using that term, great deadly force. Not just deadly force, great. And again, as I was saying earlier, that just kind of puts it in that, you know, if it, like the other kid in Belton, where he stuck the guy 4 times. And I remember saying, oh, that just seems like, oh, that was a lot to me. So in that regards, this great deadly force would be that overkill. The people were saying that you can't do the overkill in the self-defense. And this attorney is saying otherwise. Yeah, that's very intriguing to me. Great deadly force. Keep your hands to yourself. You know, they start saying great deadly force, that means you can stick, shoot. You can just unload the clip. Yeah, people better be careful, especially in Texas.
Really going to be fact-based. I do think that...
Then that's going to be a problem for them too, because word on the Frisco street is them witness statements are not going in the Metcalf's direction. That's what word on the Frisco streets are. Yeah, that's why they gonna wind up having that brawl on the golf course when they tell Metcalf that Hunter may be brought up on some charges. Because that's what word on the street in Frisco is, that those kids' testimonies is not going in that direction. So when the mother said facts, when that DAA kept saying we gonna follow the facts and we just going to wherever it leads us, he already know them facts are not leading over there. That's why I asked, oh boy, Billy Boy, have y'all ever stopped to question or see why he's not been indicted? Because a lot of people think he have, and he haven't. There's a reason for that. If it's just all about the knife, he had it, and what else is the holdup? Yeah, let's go. I mean, I'm trying to have these educational conversations because we absolutely need to start leaning on the facts, reality, instead of how we feel, instead of the black and the white part of it. No, it's because them good old days with them good old boys, that's not going to be the case this time. I'm trying to tell y'all on the
moment, but you are allowed to respond to great deadly force with your own great deadly force, or at least your perception of great deadly force. So it's really going to be fact-based. I do think that race, it's going to be played out on social media. It also is going to be played out in a courtroom if you ever get there, because in today's day and age, I would argue that someone like Carmelo Anthony...
Did he say if he get there? He said if we get there, if it gets there. That's why the entitled mindsets are trying so hard to provoke Carmelo's supporters into violence. Absolutely. Absolutely. Did he say
now has a heightened concern over the past years and the way we found social media? It also is going to be played out in a courtroom if you ever get there, because
if it gets there,
today's day and age, I would argue that someone like Carmelo Anthony now has a heightened concern over the past few years and the way we've sort of degraded some of the progress we thought we made over the past decade, as far as how we're treating young black males in the system, such that maybe he would have felt more preyed upon than he otherwise would. Interesting, you're right, we're going to be talking about this for a long time.
Professor, what do you got?
I need to make sure I send this to myself. Professor, what you got? Oh, Professor didn't talk. Oh,
hello? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Professor.
This is all about who the jury is. This will all be determined by the jury. If the racial factors were reversed, if a white man had killed an unarmed black man, everybody would be on the reverse side of this. We live in a society where everything is...
Professor. All Trayvon Martin had was some Skittles. All he had, and he got off. Those Skittles, Humble Pie and Billy, Skittles scared him. He was scared of Skittles. And he unalived somebody. So just like somebody, Pie said that they don't go to a sporting event to get unalive. Trayvon Martin didn't walk to the store to get a Sprite and some Skittles and expect to be unalived and get off. And get off with self-defense because he was scared of the Skittles. Yeah, and Kyle, we don't even talk about him. You know, I'm gonna at least say it was a protest. But Zimmerman, all he did was walk to the store, came back with a Sprite and some Skittles. And Zimmerman was scared for his life because he had some Skittles. So yes, I can believe that Carmelo Anthony feared for his life if Zimmerman was afraid. With two linebackers, if Zimmerman can get off by being scared of a Sprite and some Skittles. Now, if you make that make sense, well, make it make sense. Which Skittle color, which Skittle was he afraid of, big dog? Which Skittles? No, they're not. We done been through that. So I'm going to remove that because that is not the case. Are you listening? Are you listening? Here they come, y'all. Okay. The knife is not illegal. Is, big dog, is putting his hands on Carmelo, is that illegal? Who is you people? Now, this is how you people think. You people think that you can put your hands on somebody and get away with it. I am allowing you to hear experts, attorneys, your people. These are not my people. What do you mean? That's what they saying. He said he has the right to extreme deadly force. What do you mean? Are you not listening with your good ear? That's what he's saying. Do you need to hear it again? Where? Not in Texas. You're just talking. You've not done any research. You're just talking. You're just running your mouth. And I'm not going to prove it to you. Do your own research. So I'm going to remove that comment. No, it's not. Did you not hear him? Did you not hear this man says that you can have deadly, extreme... Listen with your good ear, horn dog. I'm going to let you hear it. And then I'm going to move on.
It's going to be played out on social media.
Hold on.
Going to be played out.
I want you to hear him say, you can use extreme deadly force.
Aggressor initially, the bad part from Carmelo.
He don't have to retreat.
In fact, it's true.
Big dog, what should happen to Hunter for putting his hands on him? Putting your hands on someone is against the law. What should happen to Hunter for putting his hands on him? Before he got his brother unalived by putting his hands on him. So what should happen to Hunter for assaulting him? I will wait. I'm not on Facebook. Now, what you're not finna do is come over here and start narratives and stuff. Go on back over there. I'm finna remove you. Now you lying. I am not on Facebook. I'm on YouTube. No. Horn dog, he pushed him. He put his hands on him after he asked him not to. Have you been listening to these attorneys? Have you been listening? Let's do this one more time. Shit. Y'all just can't hear. Y'all just don't want to hear. That's the problem. Y'all don't want to hear that Hunter was the aggressor and the Metcalf boys is finna be in trouble. Assault is against the law. Having a knife is not. If somebody assaults you, you can put them to sleep. Now I lay me down the street asleep. He said keep his hands to himself. You're not entitled to put your hands on somebody. Sometimes there's deadly consequences to that. Keep your hands to yourself. No, but y'all want to do what y'all want to do. Absolutely, he did, because he assaulted him. So what should happen to the person who assaulted him? You know, y'all killing me.
Anthony was being held on a
y'all want the rules to apply. Again, like I said, T-Sippers, they want the rules in place only to protect them against us. They don't want that same rule law to protect us against them. And that is the problem that they are having, because the law that's in place protects not only them against us, but us against them. And they don't like that part. They just don't like it. I'm not mad. Don't make me go there, because I'm gonna tell you, if that's the case, then that's why Hunter got his brother unalived, because he was an angry white person. Yeah, I mean it goes both ways, Horn Dog. If it's an angry black person, then Hunter and Austin were angry white people. But the difference is that Carmelo didn't put his hands on him. He didn't assault him. He did not start the incident. The Metcalf boys did, both of them. They had to double team him. Yeah, because they were scared. They was trying to put fear in him. They was trying to intimidate him. And because they did that, Hunter lost his life. Because there are laws in place, and he should have kept his hands to himself. Okay? Now, what I want you to do is sit back and enjoy the show. And listen, maybe you'll learn something. Because what you're not going to do is keep talking when I've asked you not to. Because now you're just saying anything. So sit back and enjoy the show. Okay? Okay? There we go. Now, I'm going to be nice to you and start this over. So maybe you can hear what these nice men that are not biased, you know, only one I knew was Chris. Okay? And we're respectfully listening before we get to the African Americans. You know, I call myself being fair and starting with someone I have not heard their opinions. Yeah, y'all just don't like the law to apply to black people. And
held on $1 million bond, which was crazy.
It was crazy.
Today they reduced it to $250,000, which is, you know, still sizable, but he
still
wound up
excessive.
getting out. All right, so Mark, first of all, the idea of race, I mean, you lived it with Zimmerman in a big way. There's so many people who believe that that's why Zimmerman wound up beating that case. But what do you see here? What are your questions? What will matter?
Oh, no, it's definitely a consideration. It always is, whether it's sort of obvious what we're doing or the implicit one, because we all carry these implicit biases with us that perceive or impact how we perceive an event. Now, what's really it's going to come down to, and I disagree with the guy who said this is not a self-defense case. Yes, that he said it. This is definitely a self-defense case, because it always is one until you look at the facts of the case and compare the two. You have to compare who was the initial aggressor. Was it an aggressive act for him to go up and say, get away from the tent? Did he do more than that? My understanding was maybe he touched him and put hands on him. Granted, that makes the decedent in this case maybe the initial aggressor. But you really still then have to look at whether or not Carmelo Anthony responded with appropriate force. He used a deadly weapon, and whether or not he was in imminent fear of great bodily injury, that's the standard in Texas and most every state, to determine whether or not his actions, the way he perceived them, the way
His
Carmelo
perception.
Anthony perceived him when he took out that knife and stabbed him. The good part is if the decedent was the aggressor initially. The bad part from Carmelo, if in fact it's true that he sort of said, touch me and you'll see, because that's that aggression, that's that predisposition towards violence that doesn't have a place in a true self-defense case.
What's the most important question for you in this, Mark? And then I want the same from you, Professor, if you have one. Go ahead, Mark.
Sure. Who truly was the initial aggressor? How did this unfold such that if in fact he had a reason to believe in great bodily injury was imminent, was it reasonable? Was he pushed? Was he shoved? Was he hit? Because don't forget, it's the moment, but you are allowed to respond to great deadly force with your own great deadly force, or at least your perception of great deadly force. So it's really going to be fact-based. I do think that race, it's going to be played out on social media. It also is going to be played out in a courtroom if we get there, because in today's day and age, I would argue that someone like Carmelo Anthony now has a heightened concern over the past few years and the way we've sort of degraded some of the progress thought we made over the past decade, as far as how we're treating young black males in the system, such that maybe he would have felt more preyed upon than he otherwise would. Interesting, you're right, we're going to be talking about this for a long time.
That is why Jeff is asking
Professor,
for $1
what do you
million.
got?
Hunter needs an attorney.
Hello? Oh, I'm
Professor?
sorry.
Yeah,
all
Professor.
This is all about who the jury is. This will all be determined by the jury. If the racial factors were reversed, if a white man had killed an unarmed black man, everybody would be on the reverse side of this. We live in a society where everything is judged by race. You know, the Bible says to judges and prosecutors, don't recognize people, just do abstract justice. We're way, way, way beyond that. If the racial elements were reversed here, virtually all the people who are calling for him to be acquitted would be calling for him to be convicted, and vice versa. Let's not kid ourselves. We live in a race-conscious society, and jury selection, which, of course, your other guest is so brilliant at and did so well in the Zimmerman case, is determining the outcome of this case, without a doubt.
So this is the attorney that got Zimmerman off. Is that what I'm hearing? Is that what I just heard? I mean, I heard him a while ago that he was... Oh, wow. So he's the attorney that got Zimmerman off with some Skittles.
Which, of course, your other guest is so brilliant at and did so well in the Zimmerman case, is determining the outcome of this case, without a doubt.
Y'all, how do y'all feel knowing that? Do y'all, he got Zimmerman off. Shit. On some Skittles. Y'all, can y'all tell I wasn't expecting that? That's deep to me. That's deep to me, and for a lot of reasons in a lot of ways. But I'm gonna keep moving because Mm. Mm.
For me, it's as simple as, how do they feel about this prop?
We live in a race-conscious society, and jury selection, which, of course, your other guest is so brilliant at and did so well in the Zimmerman case, is determine the outcome of this case, without a doubt.
For me, it's as simple as, how do they feel about this proposition? Bringing a knife to a fist fight.
Right.
Mark O'Mara, we'll see what happens. Alan Dershowitz, thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
All right,
so let's get to the second part. Where my likes at? Where my likes at? Let me see where my likes at. Y'all get my likes up. Clarinetta. Shut up, Ironside. You forgot to say what was Carmelo responding to. Oh, somebody up in here made that comment. Let me get over there where I can see. Get my likes up. Hello. They want to come over here and disregard the tough questions, but crucify. Yeah, I need my likes up. Let me give y'all some. Let me play y'all some music so y'all can either leave or get my likes up. It's up to you. You can always send a cash app. Let's go. Hell, yeah. Go ahead and leave. Get on up out of here, baby. There go that entitlement. What you say? Hold on. They be hollering clarinet. They mad. The truth will set them free though. It's gonna set them free. They won't even be honest. They can't even be honest. Hold on. Somebody said hunters should be sent to anger management. Can y'all believe that? Step to somebody. Yeah. And it wasn't even his tent. Didn't belong to him. He didn't buy it. His mom and daddy didn't buy it. None of that. But he should be able to be the tent enforcer, grab their property, put their hands on him, all of that. And that's okay. Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm getting there, but I'm waiting to see these lights go up. When didn't I see that last night? Hold on, y'all. I need 10 more likes before I move. And I ain't gonna even play no music. How about that? It is what it is. It's a new sheriff in town, and this is how we gonna do it. What did I put there? I know I marked it. Hold on. He said, yeah. The way he said that kind of, he said extreme, deadly force. Lord. I don't know. I want to do them in order. I don't want to do, I want to do, oh boy, next. Before I do the attorneys. There we go. Yeah, I got my likes up. Is this one here? Oh. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I need 6 more likes, y'all. Come on. I'm ready. I found it. Great deadly force. There you go. Yeah. I just had never heard it used like that. Great deadly force, as if he meant to honor. No, but he was saying that in self-defense you can use great deadly force, and I think that's more of what that case is, because that's, to me, that was great deadly force, because he stuck him 4 times. I mean, sometimes self-defense can be deadly. It just is. And whether it's great or extreme or not, it is not against the law to unalive someone who put their hands on you, threaten you, and people don't think. I mean, I think everybody needs to really simmer down, especially in Texas. If there are attorneys out there who can get you off with some Skittles with self-defense. So deadly. I mean, that's great deadly force. That is exactly what Zimmerman did, and that's exactly what written. Interesting that he brought that term up, great deadly force, all to find out that he got Zimmerman off. While I'm saying Skittles in a Sprite. How can he get somebody off with Skittles in a Sprite? And unbeknownst to us, that's who is talking, to whom it made sense, right? You know, so him making it make sense is also the one who got Zimmerman out. And I just wasn't expecting that. Great deadly force. It is a thing. Per the attorney that got Zimmerman off. Let's go now. Here come a different objective. I have not watched this, so I have no idea what's about to come out. I think I watched maybe 5 minutes, but I didn't get to the point where past, I think, the intro, and I said, yeah. So let's listen, y'all. This is a different perspective. I'm assuming I have no idea what they're about to say. Well, how can I back this up? Oh, my whole system just kind of rebooted. So something went wrong opening your profile. Oh, somebody mad, y'all. Let me start over here. How do I not have volume? Oh, how funny. Hold on, y'all. Listen, ain't nothing nobody gonna do that's gonna stop me from getting the word out. Yeah. Ain't nothing y'all can do. Y'all don't like the truth. The use of, listen, are you an attorney? 7.62, are you an attorney in Texas? Huh? Are you an attorney? Because we just heard one that got Zimmerman out. So how did Zimmerman get off with excessive force and all Trayvon Martin had was some Skittles and a Sprite? Tell me that. How did that become deadly? And all he had was some Skittles and a Sprite. Answer that. I'm going to remove your comment until you answer that. That's all I need for you to answer. You too, Billy. Billy boy. How did he get off? Okay. Zimmerman. And all Trayvon Martin had was a Sprite and some Skittles. Answer that. Since you think you can't with deadly force. How did Zimmerman get off self-defense and all Trayvon Martin had was some Skittles and a Sprite? What did he do? How did the attorney get him off on self-defense? You're not going to bypass that and put comments in my chat. You're going to answer that. Or I'm going to remove you. See how that go? You don't have the right over here to say and do what you want to do. Y'all don't like that. Zimmerman stated he was beating his head. Okay, who was? Zimmerman approached him. He didn't have a weapon. He put his hands on him. So the same deadly force that Zimmerman was allowed to have. Can you hear me with your good ear? Can you hear me with your good ear? It's the same deadly force that Carmelo Anthony can use because him and his brother put their hands on him. Okay? So whatever justification you have for Zimmerman, we gonna have for Carmelo. So if you can justify it in your head for Zimmerman, I'm gonna need for you to justify it in your head for Carmelo. Okay? Now sit back and enjoy the show. Sit back. Yeah, sit back and enjoy the show. That part. And if you don't like my rules over here, you can remove yourself. Okay? Okay, precious? Listen with your good ear. He just justified it, but he's over here telling me you cannot use deadly force. And Zimmerman approached this kid.
Roku Ads Manager puts Roku's reach within.
Oh, y'all kill me making the rules and breaking them. Like I said, y'all, the law only applies to them, against us. So you gonna keep going. Didn't I ask you not to do that? Y'all say bye to 7.260. Say bye. They just cannot follow the rules. They just can't. Oh, but baby, they can sure make excuses. Boy, I tell you, this is funny to me. This is funny to me. 1 minute you say you cannot use deadly force, but then you turn around and say you can. Make that make sense. But again, they want the law only to apply self-defense when it comes to us. They don't think that the law should apply for us against them. It's just the bottom line. I mean, it's sad, but that's the reality. The law, self-defense is only for them to apply that against us. They can use deadly force. We can't. We're not entitled. We're not entitled. Hold on, y'all. I had to reset my computer. And that's the sad part. That's more alarming than anything. That there are people out there that think that the law do not apply to us against them. Yeah, but we're gonna learn. We're gonna learn today. Let me tell you that now. We're gonna learn. We are going to learn. We are going to all learn to keep our hands to ourselves, and nobody will have a problem. I mean, that's just the bottom line. And just like everybody can make excuses for who they choose to make excuses for.
86% of Missouri parents and caretakers have had conversations with their children about their own bodies and personal boundaries.
Respectfully, we just all got to keep our hands to ourselves, and we all will live. We all will live. And that's not about race or anything. Everybody keep their hands to themselves. But it seems like some people don't want to do that. That's not the solution. So you want to be able to put your hands on people. Is that what you're saying? You cannot keep your hands to yourself. Okay. Wow. Okay. Okay, Roland, you got these long commercials, baby. Here we go. Y'all ready? Please, no interruptions. Now they gonna make me put no. Let me change. No, I ain't gonna do that. They gonna follow the rules.
Folks, I want to play some of the news conference. This is after Carmelo Anthony's mother spoke and Dominique Alexander was speaking. And again, I mean...
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
She's even came after me.
Oh, Lord, I'm sorry. Who is Sarah?
Said all of those things. And now that the public
Hold on.
knows exactly what is going on.
I don't know what I just hit. Okay. They hear Dominique Alexander. They sure got their asses up out here.
Social media, conservative media. So watch this.
Sarah. She's even came after me.
Who is Sarah?
She's even said all of those things. And now that the public knows exactly what is going on, I ask, because these racist bigots try to prevent us from standing up for our baby, our boy, he should be afforded the same rights that Kyle Rittenhouse had.
Amen.
Daniel Penna, and all of the people
Amen.
who have claimed whatever their defense was, he should be afforded the same right. Nobody in the public media has one video camera, but we got the video of Kyle Rittenhouse with an AK-47 shooting 3 people in the back. We got that. And he raised more than $2 million publicly, and nobody said...
And did whatever he wanted to do with it.
So, since they tried to come for us, I call for the community's overwhelming support for this fund. The disinformation that was put out was literally deliberate to prevent you from helping this family. And I want you to give overwhelming support to show them the community united can never be divided. And I'm gonna say this again, and this is for everybody. Black people in America, while the current occupant sits at 1600 Pennsylvania, black people in America don't have to pull the race card. It's what we live as a reality every day. It's what we have to teach our children.
Every day.
We don't want to, but we have to.
Absolutely.
We don't like to, but if we want to sleep at night, we got to. I ain't pulling no race card. I live it. I'm reminded all the time that I'm a black man in America. And what y'all just showed to Judge Tucker is just reminded that hate and bigotry and racial reconciliation in this country, we have respected the process. I believe that Austin Metcalf is about to have his funeral. And I wouldn't dare, even with the information I know, and plenty of people can share that and all that, but we have prevented from speaking about that in these type of public forums. It will come out. They have a more than well-capable attorney, and this family will go through a process of being able to get prepared for this trial. So I just say this real quick. This is our final time speaking to public and holding a press conference.
Folks, so that was that news conference again. Austin Metcalf's father showed up there. Look at my panel. Dr. Greg Carr, Department of Afro-American Studies at Howard University. He joins us. Dr. Nola Haynes, Georgetown University. Glad to have you as well out of D.C.
Zero, we don't troll over here. We don't troll. Okay? Did you speak coming in or you just came in with disrespect. Yeah. I'm going to remove your comment. You can try again. Respectfully. Okay?
This is the thing right here, Greg. I'm going to start with you. And again, when this story broke, and when I was sitting here following it, and it was absolutely white, black, thug. Thug kills white football star. That was a framing. And so you saw all of this in conservative media. They were all Austin Metcalf,
Okay, so disclaimer. Respectfully. Now, we started with non-African American. Respectfully, we allowed them to, we didn't say anything in a racial tone. This is an opinion, respectfully. And if you don't think you can do that respectfully, you may want to go ahead and leave now. Because I don't know what's going to be said. And if people had a problem with Chris and his attorney friends had to say, then there may be a possibility you may not like what they're going to say. And calling people out their name, trying to be disrespectful in that manner, I'm not going to tolerate it. Here, now you can go wherever you want to where they tolerate it. But I'm not. Okay? Thank you. Do you need a moment of silence to leave? There you go. I knew you was gonna take the bait, Zero. I knew you was gonna take it because you cannot control yourself. Say bye to Zero. I knew it. They ain't figured out by now. I give them the bait to show that they have no self-control.
Metcalf, Austin Metcalf, thug. And then all of a sudden we begin to hear Anthony side on what happened. Well, why was Anthony there? Why was he under the tent? And we find out that it wasn't like this was only your school could be here. All these different accounts.
Oh, so
Anthony
it done came out, y'all? So you mean it done came out to some regards that other people from other schools were up under those tents? Oh shit. That means it's beginning to slip out, y'all. Some of that truth is coming out. Yeah.
Begin to hear Anthony side on what happened.
Let's go.
Kills white football star. That was a framing. And so you saw all of this in conservative media. They were all Austin Metcalf, thug. And then all of a sudden we begin to hear Anthony side on what happened. Well, why was Anthony there? Why was he under the tent? And we find out that it wasn't like this was only your school could be here. All these different accounts, but Anthony was being savaged everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
In the conservative media and the social media.
Facts.
Well, I mean, Roland, the obvious play is to blitz with disinformation.
Facts.
Near the end there, when we heard the characterization of the mood of the country in terms of Donald Trump as, basically a permanent dealing of the race card, as I was listening, I was thinking how the prosecutor will play this. Because all of this is, to call it tainting the jury pool is an understatement. You're basically talking about a proxy race war. And as Brother Alexander said, everybody involved in terms of witnesses, at least it looks at this point, is a minor. So basically what you got is a global game of rock'em sock'em robots. Every witness is a proxy for something else. This is a race war. It's a cold race war at this point. But as Malcolm X said, as long as you have the ingredients for an explosion, you have the potential for explosion on your hand. The clown in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue all of the racists that are stoking the fires everywhere in the United States of America, at any point, any single incident could be the wick that sets off a national explosion. If this continues finally in the vein that you've been lining out and characterizing by kind of surveying social media and giving us a sense of this kind of visceral proxy race war, if this continues along this line, can we imagine what a trial looks like? What does jury selection look like? What does the voir dire process look like when the prosecutor and the defense attorneys are asking potential jurors questions? What does the reporting look like as the media carries this? This could become a proxy for the era we're in. And if that happens, man, you're absolutely right. Black media is going to be more necessary than ever because there's going to be a blizzard of racist interpretation of this, including probably CNN and MSNBC and everywhere else.
This is video, and again, just understand social media, how they've been playing. Again, and one of the people who's really been pushing this is Will Kane of Fox News. Okay, he's been pushing this as well. So here's social media posts. So Will Kane grabs a clip from Charlie Kirk, who we know is a white supremacist. And so just so y'all, I just need to show y'all juxtaposition of how conservative media works. So again, I showed you the Kirk tweet. Come on, go to my iPad, come on. This is the Kirk tweet saying insanity, blah, blah, blah. This is revolting, criticizing Metcalf. So Will Kane grabs his video and Will Kane posts despicable Dominique, and this is 1 hour ago, despicable Dominique Alexander, representing the family of Carmelo Anthony, calls Austin Metcalf. He literally takes the exact same language of Charlie Kirk's tweet. He then says, reveals his character. He had police remove Metcalf. Appalling. This is the video that right-wing folks are circulating. Listen. Give me 1 second.
And all I'm going to say, so it don't be asked later, is that was disrespectful and just shows you all the character.
Where Austin got it from.
Who was not invited, he knows that it's inappropriate to be near this family. But he did it. And so I say to people, actions speak louder than words. Okay?
Oh, dish soap is on sale. We need it.
Yeah. Hit the like button.
I think we need ketchup too.
What's in there?
Here. The ketchup's not in the fridge.
Ketchup does not.
Oh, wow.
Political operatives that want to make this thing a political thing of hate, yet bigotry, and yet racism. We have conservative operatives that have been posting non-stop about this case.
Oh, honey girl.
So just understand what is going on here. And this has been, Nola, constant. And the framing of it, guilty, guilty, guilty. Here's the deal. He's been charged. He hasn't been indicted.
Nope.
This has not gone to a grand jury. They have not factored in the evidence. You've heard Carmelo sit there and say there are other witnesses there to describe. I'm sitting here.
Let's go.
I saw one particular.
For the people in the
what
back.
Dominique said.
For the people in the back.
The framing of it. Guilty, guilty,
He's
guilty.
not been indicted.
Here's the deal. He's been charged. He hasn't been indicted.
After what, 3 weeks?
This has not gone to a grand jury. They have not factored in the evidence. You've heard Carmelo sit there and say there are other witnesses there to describe. I'm sitting here. I saw one particular to what Dominique said. Somebody posted this tweet. Don't pull it up, please. Somebody said Austin Metcalf should have lost his life, but his own brother went on.
Okay. Oh, Lord. It's not against the law to have a knife on school ground. Have you pulled the policy? Do you know what, how long the blade was? As long as it's a 5.5 or whatever, it's not against the law. Whatever your initials are, DAC, it is not against the law. So now that it's not against the law, okay? It is against the law for Austin and his brother to put their hands, grab his bag, and put their hands on him, Dak. K6 Dak. So one is not against the law and the other one is. So may I ask you, what should be done to Hunter for grabbing his property and assaulting him? Can you, that's all I need for you to answer, K6 Dak. That's it, nothing else. Can you do that for me? Can you please do that? We don't want to hear nothing. Don't move the goalpost. All I want to know is what should happen to Hunter for property, grabbing his property, which they say is robbery. Grabbing his property and assaulting him before the knife ever came out. His property was touched, grabbed, and he was assaulted. What should happen to Hunter? I want to see if you're going to have integrity. Because see, when I ask you this, when I ask people this, it shows me integrity. Still should. You can't answer that, can you? Because you don't have integrity. And that's probably what you teach minors. So I suggest you be honest, because you cannot answer that. And if you want for kids not to be, no, I'm not. I'm trying to help you because you don't have no integrity. Yeah, and you prove that. And if you are concerned about somebody losing their life, then tell them the truth. And the truth is, keep your hands to yourself and you live to see another day. Bye. Y'all say bye to 6 Dak. They refuse to answer that. They don't have integrity, y'all, because that's what I'm checking. I'm checking their integrity. I'm checking their real race card. Because they refuse. They refuse to say he should be brought up on charges. They absolutely refuse to say he should be charged for assault. They refuse. Now, y'all mad. Yeah, and I'm going to hit you with the same question every time. I'm going to check your integrity and see if you have a little white sheet on you.
On TV and said he started the altercation both verbally and physically.
Who started who?
Political operatives.
Let me move to who started it.
What is going on here? And this has been, Nola, constant. And the framing of it.
Hold on.
Guilty. Here's the deal. He's been charged. He hasn't been indicted. This has not gone to a grand jury. They have not factored in the evidence. You've heard Carmelo sit there and say there are other witnesses there to describe. I'm sitting here. I saw one particular to what Dominique said. Somebody posted this tweet. Don't pull it up, please. Somebody said Austin Metcalf should have lost his life, but his own brother went on TV and said he started the altercation both verbally and physically.
Absolutely.
Guess what? That video, if he did that video is going to be introduced to a grand jury.
And they're going to what are they going to say then?
Absolutely. So many thoughts are going through my mind right now. The first thing that I want to say is the Carmelo's mother's words are just like stinging right now. The way that her tone changed when she talked about her 13-year-old daughter being afraid to sleep in her own bed. I could not help but to recall these moments, that I heard about growing up.
They refuse to let it come out their mouth or clarinet.
In 2025, these are the sorts of stories that we're hearing in real time, but here we are. This is our reality. This is that fictitious 1930s, 1940s, 1950s that they wanted, where they can publicly harangue and hang a black person because a white life was taken. And I am so sorry that both of these young boys will be, they have been catapulted into history in a way that
did y'all hear what she said?
Afraid to sleep in our own bed. I could not help but to recall these moments, you know, that I heard about growing up. You know, you don't think that in 2025,
please hit the like button,
the sorts of stories that we're hearing in real time, but here we are.
Here we are.
This is our reality. This is that fictitious 1930s, 1940s, 1950s that they wanted, where they can publicly harangue and hang a black person because a white life was taken. And I am so sorry that both of these young boys will be, they have been catapulted into history in a way that neither one of them deserve. So that's one part of it. I don't think either one of these boys, you know, should have to be the byproduct of this kind of constant racism, this kind of constant anti-blackness.
Hey, buddy boy.
Secondly, what I want to say is, Greg, you made great points, and especially about poisoning the jury. We are talking about Texas. You know, we are talking about a red state. We are talking about a part of the world where, you know, black people are meant to be seen and not heard. And then how dare you take a white life? I am happy that they are constantly recalling Kyle Rittenhouse. I am still incredibly offended by how, you know, many in the MAGA movement, how they embraced that young man for taking young lives, for taking lives just because.
Kyle.
When I think about Stand Your Ground with Trayvon Martin, when I think about the countless black lives that have been lost, right? And then here we have a young white life that is lost. This is going to get uglier for the family, unfortunately.
Bye.
And we also need to figure out a way to not constantly be responding to this. We need to have a strategy of anticipating this kind of vitriol and this kind of racism, and
I agree,
stopping it in its tracks.
I
don't know what the answer to that is. I don't know if it's messaging. I don't know if it's constantly reminding the public of the facts and the details, and the way that they wanted to make this young man seem like he was from a single mother home and it's broken, and they're and you know they're doing the N-word stuff, right? Like he buying stuff, he doing big things with the money.
There's nothing. No, here's the deal. You cannot message this. You can't. The reality is you cannot anticipate. Well, you can, but you cannot necessarily anticipate how people are going to respond to a particular story. What we do have to understand, there are things that we have to factor in. The reality is, it is still white and black in America. As you were talking, as Greg was
why
talking,
would it not be a story, buddy boy?
About a story that took place 12 years ago in another high-income area in Dallas-Fort Worth. And that case involved the son of Major League Baseball player, give me 1 second, jumped, Torrey Hunter. Same thing. I remember the story like it was yesterday. And here's the story right here. Go to my iPad. A grand jury has declined to indict the teenage son of Detroit Tigers outfielder Torrey Hunter in a sexual assault case. Darius McClinton Hunter was arrested in May with 4 others in Prosper, north of Dallas, and accused of sexual assault. A Collin County grand jury indicated Wednesday there wasn't enough evidence to prosecute him. There was a party that took place, and you see it right here. It alleged that McClinton Hunter, co-defendant Garrett White, and 3 boys listed as juveniles were involved in a forced sexual encounter with several girls. Well, what happened at this here. This was a party, white girls, black boy. Story blew up, went crazy. Guess what the reaction was?
Oh. Y'all hit the like button. Oh, man.
Send that white boy to jail. It was Emmett Till all over. It alleged that McClinton Hunter, co-defendant Garrett White, and 3 boys listed as juveniles were involved in a forced sexual encounter with several girls. Well, what happened at this here? This was a party, white girls, black boy. Story blew up, went crazy. Guess what the reaction was? Send that white boy to jail. It was Emmett Till all over again. Didn't indict. Well, what happened a couple of months later? Guess what? That son filed a lawsuit in this sexual assault case. Right here. Okay? His son was a star athlete. He had committed to play football and baseball for Notre Dame. He filed a $10 million lawsuit against the parents of several teenage girls from the town of Prosper. Now, I don't know what the result of that lawsuit is, but I remember when that
he sued them because they lied.
And guess what? High net worth area, Prosper, Texas. Deion Sanders.
That's Deion Sanders.
Massive mansion in Prosper, Texas. It's a high net worth area. That story was black and white. So I just don't think, you can sort of predict what will happen and sort of have a strike squad ready to jump. But this is the reality still in America, Greg. White and black, especially when you're talking about high income areas.
No question. No question. And, it's really tragic. We're in the graduation season. And this boy has been expelled, according to the reports that I read about the Frisco Independent School District, under some policy they call Title V. But they do say that he can still be graduated early from some JJAEP program. So he will probably be able to be graduated, if I'm reading the policy correctly, even though he is banned from school property. Looks like he had completed all the requirements, so now it's just a matter of him being graduated. But imagine that, as you say, Dr. Haynes, as you say, Nola, there are 2 young men whose lives are irrevocably changed. One, of course, is dead, and the other faces the fight of his young life. It is a tragedy, and at the same time, because we live in an ongoing criminal enterprise called the United States of America, and I call it an ongoing criminal enterprise for the very specific reason that it was born in settler colonial violence, white supremacist, white nativist, white nationalist violence. And despite our best efforts to root that out, and certainly renegotiate the terms of the place, that persistent white nativism is either going to be, as we heard the comment a moment ago in the clip you played, either that's going to be the death of this country, or overcoming it will be the salvation of this country. But one thing is for sure, until that thing that is at the heart of this country is faced and addressed, then it's going to continue to return.
I hope your mom is okay.
3 years ago, it would be no less
slings,
tragic, but it might be less explosive.
Slasher.
But the simple fact of the matter is that, as you say,
okay.
It's in Texas. The governor of Texas, the attorney general of Texas, the Texas legislature, as racist as they have been over the arc of the last generation, is now feeling its oats in a way that if this were this time a year ago,
was you here earlier?
It would not be the same. This will be weaponized.
Was you here earlier when hash slinging slasher? Was you here earlier when we was watching the attorney that got Zimmerman off? Were you here? No. Were you here when we had the attorney there? We was listening to him that got... Oh, okay. Well, you missed... You may want to go back and watch it, because the attorney that got Zimmerman off, he made mention to... What is it called? Great excessive force? Yeah, he got Zimmerman off, and all Trayvon Martin had was some Skittles and a Sprite. Skittles and a Sprite, right? And he asked the man, leave me alone. You not the police. And they got into a scuffle. He was being harassed, but all he didn't have a gun. A Zimmerman had one. Yeah. But that attorney that got him off said something totally different than what you're saying. So, respectfully, yeah, you may want to go back, cause I'm not, well, listen, but you don't know the law in Texas. That man he's gotten, just sit back and chill, cause what you're saying is totally off, and it's not the law. Yes, you can. In Texas, you can. Y'all don't live in Texas. So I'm going to remove your comments because I'm not going to go back and forth with you. And we have already put the Texas law in. You're not an attorney. Okay? So you're just in denial. So just listen with your good ear. You don't have to comment. Now, I'm trying to be respectful. You do not have to comment. Yeah. You're not the law. And the law say otherwise. It's on the books. It's been on the books. But you want it to only apply in your favor. And that is not the law. Okay? Now, please, you don't have to comment. I would love for you just to sit back and listen. You do not have to comment. But if you do, okay, I will remove you. Thank you. Respectfully.
In a way that probably we haven't seen in maybe a couple of generations, simply because these folks are now fighting for their ideological lives. And so what does a grand jury look like? As we say, what does jury selection look like if it gets to a jury? And what does it look like if his defense team, I'm talking about Carmelo Anthony's defense team, comes up with a brilliant strategy, and the facts lay out to the point that the grand jury, if it is indeed brought to a grand jury, chooses not to indict.
They're going to lose their mind. Oh, they're going to lose their mind. They're going to find out the law that day, ain't they? They're going to find out the law that day. Since everybody think they know the self-defense law, they gonna learn that day if the grand jury decides not. Yeah, because the reality of it is, y'all, there is a reason why he's not been indicted. So everything that y'all are saying is not true. He would have been indicted by now. So you want to sit here and argue with the truth. But baby, let me tell you, I knew you wasn't going to be able to, Phoenix. Phoenix, I knew you were not going to, you can't, what is wrong with you? Huh? Bye, Phoenix. I knew you were not going to be able to. Okay, let me do this. Phoenix. Hunter admitted to being the aggressor. Hunter admitted to grabbing his property and putting his hands on Carmelo. What should happen to Hunter for breaking the law? One, putting his hand on his property. They say in Texas, that's robbery. I didn't know that. But that's what they say in the law book. Not your opinion. Them putting their hands on him is assault. Not my opinion. That's the law. What should happen to Hunter for breaking not one law, but two? Well before Carmelo went into his bag and pulled out a knife. What should happen to Hunter? That's all I want an answer for. I don't need your song and dance. I just need to know what your integrity is. Let's go. Because I'm going to remove this comment right here. because I asked you not to. But since you insisted, I'm going to remove this one too. I'm not going to even read it, okay, because you're trying to force yourself. All I want to know is what should happen to Hunter for breaking 2 laws. One, they say it's robbery because they grabbed his bag. And 2, for putting their hands on him, and that's assault. What should happen to Hunter? We waiting. And if you say anything other than answer that, I'm going to remove you from this. I'm gonna remove you, so we won't have this interruption no more. That's all we need to know. Do you have integrity or not? Are you a truthful person? Can you be honest? Let's see. We waiting. Let's see. Hold on. It isn't. I didn't say nothing about a race. I asked. Yeah, by Phoenix. You can't. They cannot answer that. Have y'all? I'm gonna test your integrity every time. You keep insisting that you can't hear with your good ear. Y'all say bye to Phoenix. What should happen to him? Yeah. Because the reality of it is we would not be here had Hunter kept his hands to himself. But nobody wants anything to happen to Hunter. Baby, again, we don't know what they're going to do when they find out that the grand jury is not going to take it. Why did he touch him? Slinger, let me explain something to you. You need to, hey, go ahead and just back up out of here, because you need to hear what why did Zimmerman use deadly force? Because that attorney says, LP, can you, what type of force did that attorney say you have in self-defense? Huh? Can you put it in the chat for me, please? What type of force did he say you could have in self-defense? Keep your hands to yourself and we won't have this problem. It was stand your grounds, and he said you can use great. What did he say? Because I'm finna remove you, Slinger. Yeah, because you tripping. You act like you can't hear. You still want to move on how you feel, and how you feel is not the law. So that means that you have an integrity issue, because you can't be truthful. You're bypassing the law, but y'all want us to abide by the law. And again, I'm gonna say the problem is y'all don't want the law to apply in favor of someone of African American descent. And that's the bottom line. Yeah, okay, So you cannot answer that question. So yeah, this is not the platform for you. So bye-bye. I'm gonna make it easy for you. They refuse. You have integrity issues. Everybody should have kept their hands to themselves. But we're gonna get to the root. We're not gonna bypass the root to get to the end, the outcome. He would have never had to pull anything out of his bag had Hunter not said nothing to him first, grabbed the bag, put their hands on him, and then his brother, all of that. No, we're not going to bypass that. Well, he shouldn't have used, yeah, he can use deadly force. Keep your hands to yourself.
Of Carmelo,
I don't know what people think is going to come out of stand your ground and our self-defense. Typically, somebody going to lose their life. So stop acting like that's out of the ordinary. It's not. It's not. This is not the first time. Hopefully, it can be the last time. But I'm going to say it again. No matter what color you are, everybody, and I do mean everybody, keep their hands to themselves. You do not have the right to force nobody out of one that's not yours. It's not yours. Second, you don't have the right to grab any of their property. And third, you don't have a right to put your hands on somebody. And it's a period after that. It don't have anything to do with race.
The Metcalf, he literally takes the exact same language of Charlie Kirk's
sorry. I was down here.
Alleged that Hunter, co-defendant Garrett White, and 3 boys in the town of Prosper.
And it's like every time the truth is right there, so they come up with something else.
You can sort of predict what.
Why do you have to use deadly force? No, stop that.
But this is the reality still in America, Greg. White and black, especially when you're talking about.
Oh, we don't even want to talk about the phone, Miss Angie.
No question.
I ain't even brought up the phone.
And you know, it's
Lord have mercy. Don't let that be true. Just and honestly, I heard that about the phone, but Hunter didn't say that. So I am merely going off of what Hunter admitted to. You feel me? That's all. Just based on what Hunter admitted, not on all the other stuff that the kids are saying happened. I'm just merely going off of what Hunter admitted. Great deadly force. That's it. So when people come in here saying you cannot, baby, that attorney that got Zimmerman off introduced great deadly force. Huh? Yeah, so stop telling me that you cannot when the attorney that got Zimmerman off says that you indeed can use great deadly force. Yeah. I don't know where y'all are, baby. And if you don't want somebody to use great deadly force on you or somebody you love, my suggestion is keep your hands to yourself. Because he said you can. And he got Zimmerman off with great deadly force. Yeah.
This season. And this boy has been expelled, according to the reports that I read, by the Frisco Independent School District under some policy they call Title V.
I mean, this is really educational because, and I'm saying that because for some reason we tend to think that we can break the law or can't nobody you can't, I can't, I'm gonna touch you, I'm gonna do this, hey, we need to know that these laws are in place. We need to know it. Everybody needs to know it. Because what I'm seeing, and I'm just going to be honest, that this generation don't know nothing about history. They definitely don't know nothing about black history because they don't want it to be taught in the school. So if they're not teaching black history, then they don't know shit about civil rights. They don't know nothing about it. And they definitely don't know nothing about the law. So there's a lot of problems in there. So, which would lead me to believe that's why they think that the laws only apply to them and we're not entitled to that law. Are y'all seeing the bigger picture here? They don't think that we are entitled for that law that was designed for them to be used against them. Because they don't respect the civil rights. That's why they do not like Alexander Dominique. Because they do not understand civil rights, nor do they respect it. And the other harsh reality is that it's some of these black people who don't know nothing about it either or don't respect it. Because if they did, then they would understand Dominique Alexander's position. So now that's why he had to remind them that it's in the books. The law is in the books. Hence is why they have not charged him yet, indicted him yet, because they looking for a loophole. Now, did I put it out there clear enough for everybody to understand? I'm gonna have to lay this down. My battery's low. Did y'all catch it that time? Was that clear enough? I don't know what to tell you after that.
AEP program. So
everybody keep their hands to themselves.
Graduated, if I'm reading the policy correctly.
They will not have to learn the hard way.
From school property.
Oh no, that's not the one.
Completed all the requirements, so now it's just a matter of him being graduated. But imagine that, as you say, Dr. Haynes, as you say, there are two young men whose lives are irrevocably changed. One, of course, is dead, and the other faces the fight.
Can y'all still hear?
His young life. It is a tragedy, and
can y'all still hear?
Because we live in an ongoing criminal enterprise called the United States of America, and I call it an ongoing criminal enterprise for the very specific reason that it was born in settler colonial violence, white supremacist, white nativist, white nationalist violence. And despite our best efforts to root that out, and certainly renegotiate the terms of the place, that persistent white nativism is either going to be, as we heard the comment a moment ago in the clip you played, either that's going to be the death of this country, or overcoming it will be the salvation of this country. But one thing is for sure, until that thing that is at the heart of this country is faced and addressed, then it's going to continue to return. If this were 3 years ago, it would be no less tragic, but it might be less explosive. But the simple fact of the matter is that, as you say, Nola, it's in Texas. The governor of Texas, the attorney general of Texas, the Texas legislature, as racist as they have been over the arc of the last generation, is now feeling its oats in a way that if this were this time a year ago even, it would not be the same. This will be weaponized in a way that probably we haven't seen in maybe a couple of generations, simply because these folks are now fighting for their ideological lives. And so what does a grand jury look like? As we say, what does jury selection look like if it gets to a jury? And what does it look like if his defense team, I'm talking about Carmelo Anthony's defense team, comes up with a brilliant strategy, and the facts lay out to the point that the grand jury, if it is indeed brought to a grand jury, chooses not to indict.
They're gonna lose their mind.
Do they have to leave Texas? Do other people get involved in terms of violence? In other words, if we go back to the 1850s, even at the lead up to the Civil War, the little incidents continue to build until things spill over into something that might just be inevitable. We might just end up having to have a fight in this country. And if we look back in 5 years or 10 years or 6 months and say this was another step in that direction, I don't think any of us would be surprised.
Well, I just really need people to understand that what you see playing out is America. White, black, income, all that sort of stuff. And again, how America sees it. White America these folks immediately went to black thug, heels, clean cut, all American, football star, white student.
And they were the aggressor.
That's literally how this was framed. And then, and early, a lot of black people were not talking about this case. I need people watching to understand. The New York Post, Fox News, they were trumpeting this story consistently. And then you begin to see black people go, hey, hold up, what the hell is going on here? Then you begin to see the response. And then when, again, I don't know if this is from the family, the Free Carmelo, and then what was the immediate reaction? Condemnation. How dare they raise money for this killer?
How dare they? How dare they?
This is nothing but
how dare they raise money?
So you can call this Emmett Till.
You right, Reese.
You can call this Statesboro Boys.
How dare they? How dare they? Yeah. How dare they? How dare they not overlook that Hunter was aggressive and Hunter? How dare they not look over the fact that he put his hands on him? How dare they? How dare they stand their grounds and somebody lost their life? What? What? How dare they ask me what should be done to Hunter? How dare them think that charges should be dropped and Hunter should be brought up on some charges? How dare they? Yeah, how dare they? How dare they? How dare they? What a game. How dare they? Yeah, how dare they stand up this time? How dare they have unity this time? $500,000? Are y'all crazy? Y'all need to sit y'all asses down. Yeah, how dare they?
Cases. White boy killed by a black boy? Oh no. Black boy gotta go to jail. Gotta get the death penalty. But that's also why there's a legal system.
Absolutely.
And folks are mad
that it's the law.
Alexander, and they're bringing up his past.
They mad, y'all. They mad because there is a law. And the law is all we want them to follow. Is the law. Just follow the law. Follow the law. We're not asking to meet us on the golf course. Let's talk about it. What can we do? Can I slide your little sign to look up? Just follow the law from the beginning. Yeah, because they don't want to do that. They absolutely do not want to start from the beginning. But hold on, because I got them two stand your ground attorneys. Hold on, this one's almost over.
That's also why there's a legal system.
Legal system.
And folks are mad because of Dominic Alexander, and they're bringing up his past. They're pulling up what he did in the past. And you know what folks are doing? They pull up the past of Austin Metcalf's daddy. All this stuff is going on before our very eyes.
Absolutely.
Man, at the end of the day,
they need to pull up that Jake guy. Yeah.
It's black
and
white.
It's white.
It's race.
Hello.
Absolutely.
I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO.
Okay, hold on. We got one more. Now these guys, I'm going to. I don't necessarily agree with everything they said, but it is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. Okay? But they gonna learn today. They just don't want that law to apply. Woo, baby. Let's go. I got one more. These are attorneys. I want us to be able to compare attorneys, not just opinions. You know, that's why even though that Mike, I think his name was, that guy, I didn't know that was his attorney, but he was sharp. Now what I did know is that he was sharp and he asked the right questions, and he was detailed and direct, and he was honest. However, I did not know who he was. and
Germans have figured out
and in
ways to
all
increase
fairness,
pressure by
I can't change how I feel about what I saw in him, because he was the attorney, right, that got Zimmerman off. I still have to respect his knowledge, right? I can't. Even though I was shocked. I ain't gonna lie. Let's go. Here they go. Oh, I'm gonna put the volume on. Hold on.
And so whenever there's a high-profile a stabbing in Frisco, Texas divides the nation. Was this unjustifiable homicide or valid self-defense? We've got the full case breakdown coming for you. Stay tuned.
Now, you already lying. You do not have the full case, because
this is attorney.
The full case haven't even been put out. Hell, it ain't even been indicted yet. So you already lying. But let's go.
Probably in the world that does nothing drastic like every day, and this is going to be an interesting one to talk about.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about this one. People know that our law firm handles exclusively self-defense cases, and so whenever there's a high-profile self-defense case, we're always on the lookout for it, and we love analyzing this stuff.
Yeah, it makes me really happy to say that. I mean, we are the only law firm in the nation, probably in the world, that does nothing but self-defense cases. So this is right in our backyard. Happy to talk about it.
I think we're also particularly well-positioned to analyze this case, Mark, because as I mentioned in the little plug that I just did at the beginning, this case really has divided people, and really about irrelevant things to the self-defense analysis. It seems to be, for example, politically divided right down the middle in terms of right of center and left of center. None of that stuff is relevant in our analysis.
I think people who have been following us for some time know that we don't care about that stuff. We analyze it exactly the same. We don't care what color anybody is. Of course, if we were trying the case, it's something we got to consider, because the population cares about such things. But the law is the law, and the law applies exactly the same way, regardless of what color someone's skin is or what sex they are. And that's how we analyze it. We refer to it as calling balls and strikes.
That's right. Okay, so and people who have been watching our podcast for a while know that we
things. But the law is.
Did y'all hear that? For the ones in the back. So please don't come in here and act as if the law is different. Did y'all hear what he said? The law is the law.
If we were trying the case, it's something we got to consider, because the population cares about such things. But the law is the law, and the law applies exactly the same way, regardless of what color someone's skin is or what sex they are. And that's how we analyze it. We refer to it as calling balls and strikes.
That's right. And people who have been watching our podcast for a while know that we are immune to blind allegiance to political parties. We oftentimes call this kind of dismissively, the R's and the D's are both up to different infringements of your freedom. We're pro-freedom. And so don't worry about political ideation creeping its way into this forthcoming very objective legal analysis.
Yeah, same with police officers. We analyze those videos as well, and sometimes the police get it right, sometimes they get it wrong. We're not on either side. I like to say we're very pro good cop and very anti-bad cop. So getting that all out of the way, I think we should just analyze it in a strict legal sense.
Yes, and before we dive into the facts of the case, another really important thing that is not very fashionable these days, but we'll throw it out there, which is that people should wait to jump to judgment. We don't have all of the information yet. Keep in mind at this point, we got some witness statements. There's been a police report that's been released. There's no video of the incident. Not all the statements have been made public, and for all we know, there's some other evidence kicking out there. So our analysis today will be based on the available evidence, but people should always refrain to jump to judgment until it's all out there.
Yeah, and even when you make a conclusion, you should still remain open-minded for more evidence. I mean, it's a little bit of an aside, but people sometimes will ask me in a social context, hey, Mark, what do you think about this issue or that issue? And sometimes my reply is, I don't know enough about that. I don't have enough data. Like, they can't believe that I don't have an opinion on every single issue. But we should say that more today, right? It's important to recognize that you need to get to a certain threshold of information. I mean, fortunately, in a legal matter like this, we already start with a presumption, right? This person, Mr. Carmelo Anthony, he's presumed innocent. So let's already start with some controversy. Maybe the release conditions here. Do you want to start there?
Sure, yeah. The bond in this case was set to $1 million, which is not an unusual starting place for the charges, which are murder. And just recently, a couple of days before the filming of this episode, the judge in the case reduced that bond down to $250,000, $250,000, which the family swiftly posted. And now Mr. Anthony is out of custody, and people are outraged about this.
Yeah, people who...
Okay, what's your comment, QT? To me, even if I know I'm just going to get beaten real bad, but will leave unalive, I can still use deadly force to prevent bodily harm or rape. Okay, I think the people know that. They just don't want it to apply. I do think they know that. I don't think that they can handle. That's why it's like check the integrity
have already
of you.
concluded that Mr. Anthony has done something wrong and actually has committed a crime. They're upset that the bond was lowered and that he was out of custody. Sorry, folks, we have a presumption of innocence in our country, and the purpose of bond is not to punish. And so I find it entirely appropriate at this point, and maybe 250 is a little high, given, I mean, look, the question is Carmelo Anthony...
Is that not the second one tonight? To say that even though it was lowered, it's still high? Huh? Non-African American. Okay. Y'all please get my likes up. I need 20 likes. Let's go. I shouldn't have to go through this. I'm trying to, put a stain on our brain. Yeah.
Anthony a flight risk? There's some argument that he is, right? I mean, he was caught fleeing from the scene, so there's some argument he is. On the other hand, he's 17 years old. He probably doesn't have a passport. He probably has no money. He's probably not going to get very far. And there are ways, which the judge has already invoked, right? Electronic monitoring, check in every week. There needs to be an adult there. There are ways to deal with that flight risk. And then danger to the community. While Mr. Anthony is accused of this crime, and apparently there was another event out there in the world where he was involved in some kind of a fight. Maybe
I think it was at the school.
Yeah, he was involved in some kind of a fight. He wasn't convicted of anything. That's not enough of a sort of criminal history, I think, for a judge to conclude this guy's a danger to the community such that $250,000 a bond is insufficient. So I don't have any bone to pick with that bond amount. In fact, I think you could even make an argument it's too high, given the presumption of innocence in strictly looking at the two things that matter, flight risk and danger to the community.
Yeah, to the people who are upset about this, they're upset until they find themselves in a similar situation. You and I represent people from all across the political spectrum, and we represent many gun owners, and many gun owners are right of center. And we've had tons of cases where our client acted in self-defense, and it even turned out in the end to be an acquittal or a dismissal and valid court-recognized self-defense, and the prosecutor was trying to hold them on $1 million bonds or $500,000 bonds or $250,000 bonds or more while they were presumed innocent. So either we're serious as a country about this presumption of innocence thing or we're not. So we think people should be more consistent.
And that's something that is not being
we've already pissed some people off, so
good.
Yeah,
you understand? You don't hear that presumed innocent? They're not acting like that. Right? They're just presuming he's guilty. Yeah. Yeah. I ain't gonna say what I want to say. Yeah. And they don't want to know if he's innocent. They don't want to know the facts. Period.
Bond is insufficient. So I don't have any bone to pick with that bond amount. In fact, I think you could even make an argument it's too high, given the presumption of innocence in strictly looking at the two things that matter: flight risk and danger to the community.
Yeah, to the people who are upset about this, they're upset until they find themselves in a similar situation. You and I represent people from all across the political spectrum, and we represent many gun owners, and many gun owners are right of center. And we've had tons of cases where our client acted in self-defense, and it even turned out in the end to be an acquittal or a dismissal and valid court-recognized self-defense, and the prosecutor was trying to hold them on $1 million bonds or $500,000 bonds or $250,000 bonds or more while they were presumed innocent. So either we're serious as a country about this presumption of innocence thing or we're not. So we think people should be more consistent with this.
All right, we've already pissed some people off, so
good.
Yeah, we've gotten started off on the right foot. All right.
Well, there was only, before we move on to the facts, there was only one part of your description of the characteristics of Mr. Anthony that I disagree with, and it's because of a recent phenomenon. You mentioned he's young, he's got no priors, this, that, and the next thing, and he has no money. Well, as of recently, that's actually not the case, Mark. And that's another thing that's getting people excited about the case, is that a massive defense fund has started for this guy, over $400,000 by my last count of it. All right, let's dive into the facts here. And once again, disclaimer, this is only based upon the witness statements and the police reports that we have so far. There's been a very limited amount of discovery that's been issued to the public. A number of these witnesses have spoken to news channels, including the deceased's, and that's Mr. Metcalf, Austin Metcalf, his brother.
Twin brother.
Yeah, his twin brother, whose arms he died in after the stabbing. So that's what we're working off of, so let's go with the facts.
Yeah, I mean, anything can emerge. There could be a video of this event. That video could show the victim here actually being far more aggressive. There could be other facts that come out. So if that happens, then we will revise our analysis accordingly, as should all reasonable people.
I agree. You know, I was having a conversation with somebody just kind of conversationally about this case yesterday, and they were asking me, well, what do you think? And I gave them essentially a short version of the legal analysis we're about to do. But I made sure to put the proviso in there. If a video comes out, for example, or some piece of evidence that we're not aware of right now comes out, I reserve the right to modify my opinion, and this opinion is based on the information that I have right now. But I gotta be honest.
What did I just do? Y'all horn dog came over. Oh my God. He done came over trying to run me down. Put some in my comments because I removed them. I'm one of them opinionated, I'm sure they want to call me out my name, opinionated. So Mike was horn dog. I'm too arrogant, People like that, they would be saying somebody needs to put me in my place, You're not supposed to have some sense, right? That's the problem with, you got too much sense. So now you're going to come over here. So let me just go ahead and ban you, horn dog, since you want to track me down for what? Yeah, unwarranted ego. Yeah, too much sense. Yeah, not allowing you to play in our face.
Turn whistleblower after working at T-Mobile for 17 years. Nobody will
hold on.
Everybody just
he want to be able to play in our face. Yeah, ain't that something? How dare you stop me from playing in your face? Yeah, let me fix this for you, sir. Yeah. Bye again, horn dog. I wouldn't dare go and try to hunt somebody down. And I ain't gonna even look to see what you look like. I can tell by your floor. Right here with this mutt puppy. Right here. Right, the floor with that mutt puppy. That we ain't on the same level. So I'm gonna let you make it. I'm gonna put you out your own misery. Woo! He tried it, didn't he? Now let me get back to where I was. Wow. Baby. I ain't never seen nothing like it. I'm trying to educate us by putting truth out here. Well, it's they don't want us to educate ourselves. They don't want us to know our rights. Y'all, this is mind-blowing to me. This is mind-blowing. Where was he? Let me go back, y'all. Mind-blowing. He had to see.
I got a Mazzano. What followed was an absolute fiasco.
Lord
so I
have
almost
mercy.
made the dumbest.
Honest, I'd actually be surprised if it turns out there was no video of this one. Well, there was only, before we move on to the facts, there was only one part of your description of the characteristics of Mr. Anthony that I disagree with, and it's because of a recent phenomenon. You mentioned he's young, he's got no priors, this, that, and the next thing, and he has no money. Well, as of recently, that's actually not the case, Mark, and that's another thing
that is still the case.
Excited about the
Sir,
case.
see how you over? He don't have a dime. That's his mother set that up. He don't have a dime. He's 17. His family always had money. You do not live in Frisco and not have money. Let's be clear. So he was right. Carmelo don't have, well, let me say, he had 2 part-time jobs. But other than that, he don't have no money. Yeah. So stop that. This is the second time, sir, you done lied in your analysis. But let's go.
A massive defense fund has started for this guy. Over $400,000.
They are absolutely.
All right, let's dive into
QT. They are having a problem with equality. This is a equality problem, as well as self-defense. They don't want us to have equality with self-defense. Absolutely. Horned out.
To the facts here. And once again, disclaimer,
he tried it,
this
didn't
is only based upon the witness statements and the police reports that we have so far. There's been a very limited amount of discovery that's been issued to the public. A number of these witnesses have spoken to news channels, including the deceased, and that's Mr. Metcalf, Austin Metcalf, his brother.
Twin brother.
Yeah, his twin brother, whose arms he died in after the stabbing.
They said that was a lie.
That's what we're working off of, so let's go.
Okay, so y'all,
anything can emerge.
Hold on. Do y'all remember in the beginning when the dad was on the news and he said that he got the call and he asked the coach where were they, and he told him and he got there just in time. Do y'all remember that? Do anybody remember that? Because he said, I got there just in time to see him on the gurney. Well, if they was taking him to the hospital, he didn't die in his arms. He didn't die. Hunter lied. But we heard that, well, I don't know if y'all heard it, but they said that was a lie. But the daddy said he got the call, he ran up to the field, the track, and he was there just in time to see him on the gurney. There was no white chalk out, because if he'd have expired there, they'd have had to, it'd have been a whole nother type of scene. But let's go.
Merge. There could be a video of this event. That video could show the victim here actually being far more aggressive. There could be other facts that come out. So if that happens, then we will revise our analysis accordingly, as should all reasonable people.
I agree. I was having
all reasonable people.
Somebody just kind of conversationally about this case yesterday, and they were asking me, well, what do you think? And I gave them essentially a short version of the legal analysis we're about to do. But I made sure to put the proviso in there, if a video comes out, for example, or some piece of evidence that we're not aware of right now comes out, I reserve the right to modify my opinion, and this opinion.
And they are intentionally not giving anything. Not even the coach's statements.
Opinion is based on the information that I have right now. I gotta be honest, I'd actually be surprised if it turns out there was no video of this whatsoever, given that it took place right there in the bleachers of an athletic field, and it sounds like maybe a little playing field or something like that, but it's a school, and so you would expect them to have surveillance cameras and things like that.
We'll see.
All right.
They got cameras.
The facts, as recounted by the witnesses and the police report, are something as follows. It is a track meet, and Mr. Metcalf and Mr. Anthony are on opposing schools, opposing teams. It's not clear to me whether they were actually competing. I don't think they were competing that day. I think they were both there in support to kind of view the event. Now, the weather was bad that day. It was raining that day, and so the schools had set up little tents, and some of the tents were kind of set up to the side of the bleachers, and some of the tents were set up actually directly over the seats, the bleacher seats, and I think that's the location we're dealing with here. And so Mr. Anthony, I think maybe to get out of the rain, it's pretty sympathetic, to try to get out of the rain, went under this tent. That was not his tent. It wasn't his school's tent. And Mr. Metcalf, whose tent it was, who belonged to the proper school for that tent, went up to him and said, hey man, this isn't your tent. You gotta leave, and instructs him to leave. At that point, there's some tension in the air, and according to reports, Mr. Anthony says, touch me and see what happens. Touch me and see what happens. At that point, it sounds like Mr. Metcalf obliges him and touches him. Now, how he touches him, there's a couple of different witness statements that vary here. For example, one witness says that he put his hand on his shoulder. Another witness says he shoves him at that point.
Put his hands on
but
his
he touches him, which we might call ordinary physical force, and we'll talk about that concept.
And I think, by the way, the twin brother says he didn't touch him at all. What he touched was his bag. He picked up his bag and tried to move his bag or something, said, you're leaving or something.
It's terrifying.
We could analyze all three of those possibilities.
Yeah, all differing witness statements, but we'll analyze each of those in turn. At any rate, after touching someone or something, Mr. Anthony reaches into his backpack, pulls out a black knife, and stabs Mr. Metcalf in the heart. One stab motion, and then at that point runs away with knife in hand, but then quickly ditches the knife basically there in the bleachers, ditches his bag there in the bleachers, and leaves the scene. And in the meantime, Mr. Metcalf tragically dies right there in his brother's arms, in his twin brother's arms, which is absolutely heartbreaking, obviously. And so at that point, Mr. Anthony runs and makes it to a fence line where a officer, a school resource officer, has been alerted of what's going on. It sounds like they were called. They came out. They saw him kind of on this fence line and yell out to him. And he turns around and he says, I was protecting myself. And so at that point, he was taken into custody and detained. It sounds like the school resource officer was communicating with another officer on his radio and said something to the extent of, I have the alleged suspect here with me. And then a spontaneous statement was made by Mr. Anthony something to the extent of, not alleged suspect, I did it. And so at that point, the resource officer is kind of walking Mr. Anthony back over to where the action is. And during that walk, or maybe when they arrived there, there's a statement made by Mr. Anthony to the police officer, and it's in the form of a question, actually. It's, can what I did be considered self-defense? And so the resource officer basically responded, look, man, I don't even know what happened at this point. And so those are all the statements that we are aware of right now, and those are all the witness statements.
Apparently, Mr. Anthony has not watched any of our videos, and he hasn't heard us say any of the millions of times that we've said, just shut up. And he decides to make all these statements. As you mentioned, I was protecting myself. He put his hands on me, I think is another statement. He says, I'm not alleged. I did it. He put his hands on me. I told him not to. Is he going to be okay? Could it be considered self-defense? Well, he just took away a whole bunch of different possibilities of defenses right there. He admitted he was the person. He said he put his hands on me. That's what he said. He didn't say there was a whole group of them coming towards me. He didn't say, I thought he was reaching for something, a gun, a knife, a bat, something like that. He didn't say, I was really worried because I was on the bleachers and I could fall and get hurt or get thrown off or something like that. Once you start talking, yes, what you say matters, but also what you didn't say matters, right? Because if you start adding facts later on, a year and a half, 2 years down the line, after your lawyers have been talking to you, after maybe that video comes out, witnesses come out, you start figuring out, maybe I got a problem here. Oh yeah, by the way, this happened, that happened.
Satoria,
you know you are going to give that prosecutor.
Well, Satoria, I was just going to let it play out. But, hold on. We really, oh man, I think I went too far. We really don't know if he said that to, right? I mean, we don't know what all he said. We just going by what they told us. And I don't have to break it all the way down like that. 1 minute you say, don't say nothing. And he said too much, and now you drilling it like he was supposed to say this, that, and the other. So that's why I ain't say nothing. Because we don't know what Carmelo said. His mama said a lot.
Takes off. Now, why is this relevant? Well, we defend people all the time in self-defense.
I think I hit it.
Maybe Mr. Anthony winds up saying, yeah, I did make some statements, but that wasn't, you limited your criminal defense.
I hit the button.
Considered self-defense. Well, he just took away a whole bunch of different possibilities.
So he just said they took it away.
He admitted he was the person. He said,
so which one is it?
Hands on me.
Did he talk too much?
He didn't say, there was a whole group of them coming towards me. He didn't say, I thought he was reaching for something, a gun, a knife, a bat, something like that. He didn't say, I was really worried because I was on the bleachers and I could fall and get hurt or get thrown off or something like that. Once you start talking,
we don't know what he said.
Yes, what you say matters, but also what you didn't say matters, right? Because if you start adding facts later on, a year and a half, 2 years down the line, after your lawyers have been talking to you, after maybe that video comes out, witnesses come out, you start figuring out, maybe I got a problem here. Oh yeah, by the way, this happened, that happened. You know you are going to give that prosecutor.
One thing is for sure. One thing is for sure we know. He said, I told him not to touch me. And it was self-defense. That we know he said. Absolutely, Satoya. So we know he said it was self-defense. And we know he said he told him not to put his hands on him. That we know. But let's hear him out. Let's hear him out.
So much happiness and joy when you start throwing facts, when you're on the stand talking about what happened, saying, oh yeah, there were other things that were really important here, and you can see that prosecutor sitting there licking their proverbial chops, just getting ready to get up there and rip this guy a new one. Folks, this is why you just shut up. How many times do we have to say it? Just shut up. I know other people give different advice. Don't listen to them.
No.
Don't listen to them. Again, the best advice is if you got a lawyer who you can call right away, like every AOR client can.
So
you
that would
call your
contradict
attorney and then let us tell you what, if anything, to say. But when you start saying things,
we done
just
had,
laid out your defense. Limited your criminal defense lawyer later on down the road. This guy, Carmelo Anthony, didn't listen to any of that. Obviously, he's 17. He's not thinking.
LP, you still here? Can you tell Pressure what the non-African American attorney that got Zimmerman off that we listened to? What did he say? What did he say that blew my wig back? What is it called again? What is it called? He said what did he say? We have great excessive force. He said with self-defense, you can have great excessive force. And guess what, Big Pressure? He got Zimmerman off. They were giving him his accolades. Because we know all now, when I played this, I'm gonna be honest, I did not know he was that attorney that got Zimmerman off, and all Trayvon had was some Sprite and some Skittles. But he said, most people don't know this. I'm sorry, that's it right there. That's it. That's what he said exactly. Great deadly force. Yeah, you got my $100. He blew my wig back. I said, great. Now, that seems excessive to me. Yeah. He said, one more time for the one time. Great, deadly force. And guess what? He got Zimmerman off. And all Trayvon had was some Skittles and a Sprite. Y'all gonna learn today. Y'all gonna learn today, but let me finish. Blew my wig back. I ain't gonna even lie.
He's just making statements, and all of that is gonna hurt him.
Yeah, and you're always closing more doors than you're opening, right? It's crazy. Some organizations and even some lawyers, even some criminal defense lawyers.
That's a problem for me, because we the people don't know the laws. We think we do. Yeah, we think we do. But we don't know these laws. Because, see, them the type of laws, my phone is hot, that's going to get them to send us up the river when they pay, when they get the right attorney. Yeah, because they know them laws that we don't know nothing about. That man said great deadly force, and he was matter of fact about it. And the professor and the other man, they was like, well, you did a great job. Yeah, he was the one that got Zimmerman off. So y'all can say what y'all want to say. Pay me my money.
People to say, oh yeah, after a self-defense incident, the only statement you make to the cops is, I was in fear for my life.
Great deadly force.
Well, think about this. You're closing so many other defenses to your future lawyer. For example, there are times you can use deadly physical force to protect a third party. There are certain...
what? Did you hear that? There are times... I didn't hear this. You mean somebody that's not even directly? And these are attorneys.
What, if anything, to say?
Y'all better learn the law.
Saying things, you just laid out your defense.
He said a third party.
Defense lawyer later on down the road. This guy, Carmelo Anthony, didn't listen to any of that. Obviously, he's 17. He's not thinking.
Yeah, this other guy just said deadly force with a third party.
Always closing.
We ain't never heard that before.
Right? It's crazy. Some organizations and even
somebody else,
and some criminal defense lawyers that I've heard tell people
come in and use the deadly force.
The only statement
for who you done something to.
Fear for my life.
Well, think about this. You're closing so many other defenses to your future lawyer. For example, there are times you can use deadly physical force to protect a third party. There are certain states.
So how in the world can you have that what he just said on the third party? That means somebody, did you just hear what he just said right here? A third party. That means somebody that don't have nothing to do with you.
For example, there are times you can use deadly physical force to protect a third party. There are certain states, Texas is one of them, that have what we might call a general crime prevention statute.
See, that's my problem. We think we know the law, and we don't. But anytime, no, he just said, see, that's the problem. So yeah, you got to go back and watch it, because that's what that man was saying, is that we can't, the law is the law, period. We can't alter it. We can't play around with it. And that's what we want to do. But then that's when it's not equality, when we start dictating at which point. If I would have told you that you can get off on killing somebody or unaliving somebody for somebody else, you would have told me, I don't know what I'm talking about. These are real attorneys. And guess what? They are self-defense attorney. That's their practice. So I go with how we feel when we are listening to actual attorney.
In order to be more
My phone is hot.
They say anything you say or do can and will be used against you. Being in fear for your life. And you and I have been saying for years on this podcast, Mark, in our opinion, the Miranda warnings, the popular Miranda warnings that the police read to people, should really be modified a little bit in order to be more accurate. Currently, they say anything you say or do can and will be used against you. Really?
Yeah, think and grow big.
And
yeah, we kind of got that. We got a little bit of gems dropped the other day, and we found out that it just had a real bad downpour, and everybody was running under everybody's tent. That has never came out. Yeah, but they said so. It was, and the people who was running up under those tents, they were from different schools. So it became the downpour, and people just started running. So everybody was under whichever tent they can get to first. They left that out. There's a lot of things have been left out.
Things that you don't say,
yeah,
be used against you. And
that's why Carmelo Anthony's mother is only asking for us to only asking for due process. All she's asking is let the pressure stop. I always say he tried to take a weapon. What? So I had to pressure stop. Listen, have you ever stopped to think, if it is so cut and dry about the knife, why have they not indicted him? Why is the DA refusing to acknowledge anything other than an arrest? He said that they have not brought him no evidence to present to a grand jury. So at this time, he's only been arrested. Outlaw, I don't care nothing about that. That's not against the law. That's not against the law. We only talking about the law over here. So maybe you need to go somewhere else. We're talking about the law. Yeah, you can have a knife at school as long as it's under 5.5. Yeah, at the school. You can have a knife at the school as long as it's under 5.5 inches. The blade. So now what? Now what? In Texas, I don't know where you at, but in Texas, you can have a blade It's as long as it's under 5.5 inches. Okay. Well, we know different over here. So maybe you need to go someplace else. Maybe this is not the place for you. Because I don't deal well with people switching facts around to meet their narrative. Yeah, that means you have integrity issues. So before you go, let's see if you have integrity, Outlaw. Since Hunter has admitted to assaulting Carmelo, grabbing his bag, and in Texas, they say that that is considered a robbery. What should happen to Hunter? He admitted to grabbing his bag. They say that's robbery. And he has admitted to putting his hands on him before the knife ever came out the bag. What should happen to Hunter? Let's go. That's all we want to know. And that's going to determine if you can stay or if you have to go. Do you have integrity? What should happen to Hunter? It's not against the law. I mean, stop pressure. Stop pressure. Outlaw country, what should happen to Hunter? That's all I'm waiting on. I don't want to hear nothing about no rules. We talking about the law. Hunter broke the law twice. He is admitted to being the aggressor. He touched him and he grabbed his bag. One is assault, and they say, I didn't say this, I wouldn't have called it robbery, but they say that he grabbed his bag, he took his bag, that's robbery. What should happen to Hunter? Okay, bye. Y'all say bye to Outlaw. Hunter said it. Hunter said it out of his mouth. No, we do know that. He said it. You have integrity problems. You cannot accept the fact that the law is the law and they were the aggressors and they broke the law. Y'all say bye to old school country neck la. Shit. Bye. Now we don't know that. Wow. Now we don't know that. Wow. Talk about turn it around. Hell, if that's the case, then we don't know if Carmelo stabbed Austin. I mean, if we're going to play it like that. And you're going to say, well, he said he did it. And Hunter said that he turned around and he was aggressive. And then his brother elevated it.
Now, if in trial for the first time, for example, evidence is presented where he says, yeah, I thought that this Metcalf guy was going for a weapon or something like that, the prosecutor now gets to stand up and say, isn't it true you talked to the cops that day? You didn't say anything about seeing a knife, did you? You're making it up for the stand right now for this trial, aren't you? After talking to your attorneys. And they can do that.
See, that's what blows my mind with these.
Yeah, there are other problems.
With pressure. Because he started it. And now he's saying Carmelo should have been quiet. Like he's a second-class citizen. Somebody can say something to him, but look at here. Now you know him, he's white, and you ain't white, so you better keep your mouth shut. That's what pressure say he need to do. Get the fuck out of here with that. Now for real.
As well, just while we're on the point, I mean, as I recall reading.
He said, don't touch me. He said that. But you want him to hush his mouth. Hush your mouth now. Don't say nothing. Be quiet. Hush your lips.
In the police report, the person that those statements were alleged.
I ain't lying, pressure. I don't believe you from Memphis. I don't believe you from Mississippi. What, you know what? That is Mississippi back in the day. Maybe that's what y'all had to go through. No, absolutely not. And they still whipped you and beat the hell out of you and ended your life.
Allegedly made to didn't have his body camera on.
Well,
I hope they're right.
Right.
He could have put anything in there. He could have.
Let's go.
And the things that you don't say can be, and I did you. You're making it up for the stand right now for this trial, aren't you? After talking to your attorneys. And they can do that because he didn't just shut up.
Yeah, there are other problems as well. Just while we're on the point, I mean, as I recall reading the police report, the person that those statements were allegedly made to didn't have his body camera on. Well, I hope they're right. He could have put anything in there. He could have, maybe Mr. Anthony winds up saying, yeah, I did make some statements, but that wasn't exactly what I said. I did tell him about I was in fear. Maybe, who knows? He could have said other things. But when you start talking, that officer is going to write down what it is you said. Do you really want to risk 10, 20, maybe more years of your life? And here you're probably talking about more years of your life for a 17-year-old kid on the accuracy of what that police officer, who may not have his body camera on, is going to write down in his report. You just put your life in that police officer's hand. So even if you did say exactly the best possible thing, ain't no guarantee that that officer is going to put it down in that police report accurately. Again, just shut up as a general piece of advice. I mean, I've only been doing this 31 years now.
Yeah, but the kid don't know. I understand what he's saying, but he's 17. So he's thinking that the authority, that's how he thinking he's talking to an authority. So he don't know, well, I don't need to say nothing. He's scared. They checked him or tried to whatever. He's scared. I poked him. I did it. He wasn't trying to kill him. So I understand that, but I can't expect for a 17-year-old to not say something to an adult. Come on now. Not say something to the police. He don't know no different. Yeah.
Cases for 31 years. Maybe I'm totally wrong about this, but you and I have seen more cases than we can possibly remember when, together we've been sitting there saying, man, if this guy had just shut up. Or the worst piece of evidence in the case came out of his own mouth. How many times have we said that? So
absolutely. And the worst thing that Hunter should have did was to say that they were the aggressors. Absolutely. It started with Hunter. Out of his own mouth. Long before Carmelo said self-defense.
We keep saying it. I think probably 99% of criminal defense lawyers agree with us. There's one or two around the edges that try to make some more specific advice. And then there are other non-criminal defense lawyers, right? Police officers, use of force experts, different commentators who don't do these kinds of cases, who like to offer different kinds of advice.
Even huge associations like the NRA is telling its members, just tell the cops you were in fear for your life. As you mentioned, he's 17 years old. Parents should learn from this. Parents across the country should learn from this. Sit down with your kids.
I agree.
Explain to them what an interaction with the police looks like and tell them not to talk to the police, especially if they're minors. There's special rules in all jurisdictions in the United States.
It is a learning tool.
Precautions need to be taken when cops are dealing with minors. They should actually talk to you, and they don't want to make any statements until they speak to a lawyer. So sit down with your kids and have this conversation before they're in this situation.
I agree.
By the way, this is what police officers tell their kids as well. They tell their own kids to just shut up. This is what police officers tell other police officers after shootings. Just shut up, at least until you have to deal with that internal affairs interview. And so look, good police officers recognize and respect an invocation of the right to remain silent. And while we're on the topic, it's always good to say I want my lawyer present as well, because, if you don't mention the magic word lawyer or attorney, generally speaking, the police officers can continue to ask you questions, but if you mention the magic word in an unequivocal kind of a way, I want my lawyer, not farting around with, do I need a lawyer? I think I might need a lawyer. No, you got to say, I want my lawyer before I answer any questions. then the rules are they don't get to ask any more questions. And if they do, and even if you do answer, you've now given a good argument to your defense attorney to suppress that statement, at least in the case in chief. Best case, again, just shut up.
Yes, and notably with this particular case, he wasn't arrested at that point, so he wasn't in custody, he wasn't being interrogated in custody. That's when the Miranda warnings are triggered. That's when your Fifth Amendment rights kind of turn on at that point. So because he wasn't arrested and undergoing a custodial interrogation, and because he was kind of vomiting out these statements sporadically, all that stuff is going to come into evidence.
It's all coming in. It's all going to hurt him.
Yep. All right. Let's talk about a couple really important general principles of self-defense that people need to understand, right? Because I keep seeing people talk about, well, you know, Metcalf touched Anthony first. Don't you have a right to defend yourself in this country? Doesn't every Texan have a right to defend themselves? We should really differentiate ordinary physical force and deadly physical force and talk about the requirements to use either.
Yeah, and you know, if people are interested here, they should look at the Texas Penal Code, Section 9.31. That's the section that talks about what we refer to as ordinary self-defense. And then the next section, 9.32, that's the section that talks about deadly force. Think of it as two different boxes here, right? There's the ordinary physical force, and then there's the deadly physical force. This is what we talk about when we use the word proportionality, right? Of course you have a right to defend yourself. I mean, we consider ourselves self-defense absolutists. We take the position that everybody at all times has a right to defend yourself. No problem against anybody who is aggressing against you. But that doesn't mean you get to use disproportionate force. So even if we imagine a situation where Mr. Metcalf is being the aggressor, and it's certainly not clear from the record that we have that Metcalf is aggressing, but if you sort of steelman Mr. Anthony's position here, give him the benefit of all doubts, right? He made these statements, he put his hands on me. Let's imagine Mr. Anthony, let's ascribe the best case scenario to him. It was raining. He wanted to get out of the rain. This was the closest tent. He just went in there, sort of scooted himself in there, sat down quietly in the corner. Forget about the fact that he brought this knife with him. He just had good intentions about everything from the very beginning. He just sat there, was trying to get out of the rain. And Mr. Metcalf, the deceased here, let's ascribe the worst possible situation.
See, it's hard for me. Okay, so y'all remember earlier when I said it was hard for me to go with this because they are skipping past. So they went straight to Austin. You feel me? They went, oh, Billy, I thought I removed you. Billy, how you keep coming back? Billy? Now, I keep removing you. Yeah. See, because he is doing what everybody else do. They play around with it. How can he give an analysis and he has bypassed Hunter? So he bypassed Hunter, and so that means that he's bypassing everything in the beginning before we get to the bag. So how can you go from C to D? You cannot go from C to D by bypassing A and B. So when I'm coming to the realization that this is on purpose. They are intentionally trying to bypass the initial. Why? Why are they bypassing the initial? Because, yeah, so, because there's no way you can go from Austin, the guy who lost his life. So you're going to go from what? He said this, and then he went into his bag. And, oh, no, he said, touch me, and I'm going to see what happens. What? What? So this is what, what's his name? Roland Martin then was talking about. It's intentional. It's intentional. Yeah, you can't do that. You cannot bypass Hunter. Why are we not? Why can't the people, your audience, hear? He went through 2 brothers. Yeah. No, that's intentional sabotaging of what you put out. No, absolutely not.
The pictures, they look roughly the same size. Now, of course, you start changing that, right? One guy's 300 pounds and the other guy's 100. The pictures, they look likely to lead to either death or a serious bodily injury or serious physical injury, as it's sometimes explained in the statute. Do we have that? We got a fist fight here between 2 guys that are probably roughly equal.
2 guys.
Same age.
2
They're
guys.
both athletic. You can see the pictures. They look roughly the same size.
So y'all see.
You start changing that, right? One
so
guy's
now it's just
300
2
pounds
guys.
and the other
It's not
guy's
3.
150
You know why it's not 3?
That might lead to a different conclusion. But all
y'all see that
so far,
you
is
see
an
that
aggressor who is using order.
Hold on, y'all see that? So now it's just a fist fight between 2 guys. What happened to Hunter? What happened to Hunter? So you don't want to say it was with 3. It was 2 fighting 1. Cause that would mean a double aggressors. Huh? So how are you intentionally leaving out Hunter? It is not just a fist fight. Yeah, now it's a jumping because it's 2 against 1. And for some reason, y'all want to leave out Hunter.
If you take that statement that I just said,
and
then Mr. Anthony is absolutely entitled to defend himself with ordinary physical force.
Yeah.
Means he can stand with force. If you self here, you lose that, and you are responsible and criminally accountable if, in the way you defend yourself, you use deadly physical force.
I'm gonna use deadly force,
ordinary physical
because
force.
it was
Yes,
2
absolutely.
people.
Couldn't agree more. And this
2
isn't
people.
just our opinion,
2 people's
folks.
not
If you look
ordinary.
at every
Yeah,
jurisdiction
I know.
in the United States.
Because
there's a reason
y'all intentionally
why
left
they
out Hunter.
differentiate between ordinary physical force and deadly physical force. Now, as I mentioned earlier,
So you rather them shoot them than stab them.
Force in a self-defense context, but in response to mere ordinary physical force.
Precious say, shoot them.
In this case, at the end of the day, and that's putting Mr. Anthony in the best possible light, and that's not the light that we're seeing this case in right now.
I agree. I'm gonna go ahead and end this. Y'all been on here too long. I understand it's not because y'all don't even want to acknowledge Hunter, and Hunter has already said he started it. And his brother jumped in for him. Oh, how we forget. Oh, how we forget. They don't want to say Hunter and Austin because then, oh my God, the story would change. But guess what, y'all? Guess what? The evidence is there. Now, whether the media wants to be honest and put it out there, they can skip trace all they want to. Reckon that's some of the reason why he ain't been indicted and it's almost going on a month? Huh? You can skip past this, sir. But Frisco can't, because they know Hunter started it. Austin jumped in. He did what he always do for his brother. They double teamed. And that came out of Hunter's mouth, whether y'all want to say it or not. It's the intentional. It's mind-blowing to me. It is mind-blowing. But the reality of it is this is how we get railroaded. This is how we get railroaded. Yeah. And I am going to say, if Dominique Alexander was not in place right now before the indictment, this would probably be different. He probably would have been indicted by now. But because he stood up and represented them before he was indicted, they stumbling and crumbling. And that's why he had to remind them. It's in the books, though. Yeah, it may be outdated, and yeah, it may be this, that, and the other, but it's still in the books. And we need for the same law for you to apply for him. Yeah, that's why they skipping past Hunter. Yeah, because it would be frightening. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. It's intentional. I'm a real... It's intentional. Every time they talk, they skip past Hunter. So they skip in the beginning. How can you skip the beginning? How are you going to be able to explain the warning that Carmelo gave? Don't touch me. You hit me, you're going to see what happened. Yeah, because a whole bunch of other stuff happened. It was said and done before that. But y'all want to skip past it. Yeah, because it will show their intent. Yeah. 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 I heard it come out his back. Absolutely. Okay, y'all, I've been over here almost 4 hours. I'll see y'all tomorrow. We gonna learn something again tomorrow.
Who say
and
that
I'm gonna tell you, that one that got Zimmerman off, I think he shocked me the most. I ain't gonna even lie. He blew my mind. Did not know who he was. That man said great deadly force. And yeah. Okay, y'all have a good one. Please hit the like button on y'all way out, especially if you didn't hit it coming in. Like, share, subscribe, support the platform. You can send a Cash App donation, $AUNTEAFEE. Y'all have a good night. Bye. Keep your hands to yourself. Can you do that, please? Keep your hands to yourself, please.